Immortal Cultivation begins with time management. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 976. I want to reverse my thinking. After killing the demon bone directly, Ling Yunpo disappeared in front of everyone again. The elders of the Ingido immediately became confused. No one could have thought that the Chin Sword Master would sneak in openly and kill the demon bone directly. Then, about 10 breaths later, the elders received a message from the secret realm, showing that the Chin Sword Master was now several kilometers north of the crowd. It was obvious that he was retreating at a high speed. At this time, the disadvantages of not having a unified command were immediately exposed. Some of the elders of the Ingido quickly chose to chase the Chin Sword Master. Another part of the elders suspected that the location released by the Chin Sword Master was a bait, and in fact, a trap had been laid there, waiting for everyone to take the bait, so they did not follow that pursuit. Some of them stayed where they were to deal with the scattered cultivators who were still coming to provide information. Some quietly evacuated the scene and went to find the Lianchin elder on the other side. Ling Yunpo used the Jin to teleport away, but did not run far away. Instead, he deliberately stayed within the detection range of these people and let the secret realm automatically transmit the message. Afterwards, he quickly flew away on his sword, and asked Kunlun Mirror to stay nearby to investigate how many Ingido elders had tracked this location. Not long after, Kunlun Mirror came back to report the news. It is as expected. After hearing what Kunlun Jing said, Ling Yunpo laughed immediately. As expected, as long as that demon bone died, the people of the Ingido immediately lost their backbone. Indeed. Kunlun Jing also sighed. They thought your weakness was the problem of true energy endurance, but they didn't know that their flaws were more obvious than yours. As long as Demon Bone, who is in charge of command, is sent out of the field, the remaining elders will naturally disagree and split up to do their own things. That's right. Ling Yunpo said proudly, because the competitive pressure in the demon cult is worse than that in the Orthodox Church. Most of the elders are very opinionated. It is far more difficult to organize them to act in a unified manner than in the Orthodox Church. The reason why Demon Bone can lead them is not because of his cultivation strength or prestige, but because he is the son of Master Fushi and has the status and strength of the Master. In addition to Demon Bone, who else can integrate these elders? Impossible. Did you miss someone? Kunlun Jing suddenly said, where is Wen Yang? Wen Yang, Ling Yunpo pondered for a moment and continued, if they were to follow Wen Yang's orders, these elders would not have followed Mogyu in the first place. Now that Mogyu has been eliminated, there may be some fence-sitters who will go to Wen Yang for help, but most of them will definitely do their own thing. It's not that they don't take the sect's important responsibilities to heart, but they want to show their attitude to Master Fushi. Humans' minds are really complicated. Kunlun Jing sighed, so what are you going to do next? After dealing with these pursuers from the Ingido, the only ones who can threaten you are the independent cultivators, right? Well, with the quality and organization of these independent cultivators, I'm afraid they won't pose any threat to you at all. Almost. Ling Yunpo said lightly, Jin, help me see which independent cultivators are there at present. Independent cultivators? Kunlun Jing asked in surprise, are you going to? Since they can come and hunt me, why can't I hunt them back? Ling Yunpo said confidently, you see, even the idiots of the Ingido know that my biggest weakness is the endurance problem. If I am hunted by so many people and keep running away, I will sooner or later run into a situation where my true essence is exhausted. It's better for me to send as many cultivators out as possible before that, so that this trial will end quickly. Will you have the problem of running out of true essence? Kunlun Jing secretly complained. The guy who didn't even bother to control the sword and directly asked me to help teleport. What qualifications do you have to say the biggest weakness is the endurance problem? That's true. She agreed against her will. Then what type of casual cultivator do you want me to help you find? As long as there are few people. Ling Yunpo sneered. Didn't the old man say that this secret realm tests fortune and luck? In other words, even if they're eliminated under my sword, they can only blame their bad luck. Another skilled skill of passing the blame. Kunlun Jing sighed silently and nodded in agreement. Not long after, Ling Yunpo received a signal. 20 miles to the northwest, green sword light. It seems to be a female cultivator. He then merged with Chin's human sword, dragging a high-speed, long sword-like tail, and killed the target in the northwest. The scattered cultivators who had been commissioned by Ingadeo to find the whereabouts of Chin's sword master suddenly found that Ingadeo and others were missing. Could it be that some lucky person had discovered the trace of Qin Sword Master in advance and had already taken the reward promised by Ingadeo in advance? Since there was no way to find out the reason, everyone could only disperse in dissatisfaction and start scheming against each other again. In this doomsday disaster-like world, the existence of others is more terrifying than the disaster itself. Once you encounter a strange cultivator who is stronger than you, and the other party is sure of this, you will immediately fall into the dangerous situation of being hunted down. Therefore, many cultivators adopt the ostrich tactic, trying to find a secret place to hide and survive until the end of the secret realm trial. However, most of the land was submerged by the sea, and it was dangerous to stay at the bottom of the sea for a long time. Everyone could only fly aimlessly, hoping to find a safe hiding place. Gradually, a strange news suddenly spread from the mouths of some monks who knew each other. It was said that the Qin Sword Master had not been killed by the invaluable, and some people had received automatic transmissions from the secret realm again. Unfortunately, before they could find that Qin Sword Master, the other party quickly took the initiative to kill them. Only one of the 4 or 5 people was left, because he escaped the fastest and survived. Now the survivor is gathering monks to jointly attack the Qin Sword Master and compete for the quota to directly win the trial. So many monks stopped fighting each other and rushed to the location provided by the survivor. Soon, before they arrived at the call point, the monks learned another piece of news. The survivor originally gathered 30 or 40 monks, but the Qin Sword Master mixed into the crowd and killed them all with a few swords. Of course, it was definitely a rumor that he killed dozens of people with a few swords. It was probably that he used some sword magic to kill most of the people. But everyone was alert, knowing that the target was very arrogant at this time. Not only did he not run away, he also tried to kill the pursuers. At this time, everyone didn't know what they were about to face, but quickly began to call friends to gather together, ready to hunt down the arrogant Qin Sword Master together. Chapter 977. Getting a spot. Ling Yunpa was teleported to the center of the sea, and his mood slowly calmed down. Most of these casual cultivators were noobs, but there were also a few capable people who mastered various strange secrets, which almost made Ling Yunpa capsize several times. Fortunately, with the help of Arjun, he could always teleport him out of the attack range of the most critical moment, avoiding the tragic end of being calculated and killed. Qin's human sword was as powerful as ever. No matter what kind of defense technique, flying sword parry, or magic weapon interception, they all collapsed in one blow and could not stop the edge of the magic sword at all. After killing to the end, Ling Yunpo forgot to count how many people he had killed. Anyway, if they were piled together, there would definitely be a river of blood. Of course, there was nothing he could do about it. This secret realm would report his location every once in a while to attract other cultivators to kill him. Of course, he could only strike first, otherwise, they would organize a large number of people to attack him like the Inglito. What should he do? Are there any other cultivators nearby? Ling Yunpa recovered his true energy for a moment, and immediately asked Kunlun Jingdao. The nearest one is 800 miles away. Kunlun Mira replied. 800 miles away? Ling Yunpo said in surprise, is this place too remote, or did I kill too many? It should be the latter. Kunlun Mira thought, the density of cultivators in the nearby sea area is much less than at the beginning. Maybe it's not that too many were killed, but that they are all hiding. Ling Yunpo guessed. Then should we still kill? Kunlun Mira asked again. Kill. Ling Yunpa was full of murderous intent and was about to move when he suddenly saw a figure flash in front of him. You can't kill anymore. The old man grabbed his arm and said in a deep voice, if you keep killing, no one will be able to escape, and this secret realm trial will be meaningless. Huh? Ling Yunpa asked with a sneer, you were a bit unfair. You only allow people to come and kill me, and I can't even fight back. The old man was silent for a moment, and said, I underestimated you. I naturally know the power of the Qin's human sword, but what about your teleportation? Of course it is the ability of the Qin's human sword. Ling Yunpa was talking nonsense. Anyway, the old man was just a projection in the secret realm and couldn't go out and say anything. When did the Qin's human sword have the ability to teleport? The old man looked suspicious. The Qin's human sword already exists. Ling Yunpa was still stubborn. If you don't believe me, go ask other Qin sword masters. The old man naturally couldn't go ask other Qin sword masters. He was angry for a long time before saying, anyway, if you continue to kill like this, even if there are only 12 people left, I don't think you can die, even if you pass the test in advance. How can it be that simple? Ling Yunpo still wanted to argue and ask for some benefits, but the old man seemed to have seen through his nature. How could he give him the opportunity to speak? He waved his hand without saying anything and teleported him out. As the world spun, Ling Yunpo found himself outside the sky, surrounded by endless water of the Milky Way and burning stars with dots of light in the far distance. Isn't this the place where Qiu Chang's time came before? Ling Yunpo knew that the old man had selected him in advance and deliberately isolated him here, so he just sneered. My strength is so strong, why do you need to set up a reporting mechanism to make everyone come here one after another to die? Isn't this just shooting yourself in the foot? It doesn't matter. Anyway, my goal is to get the clues of the Great Light Hall and let the Long Eyebrow Immortal leave Shushan and go to the secret realm, so that I can take the opportunity to take the fragments of the heaven repairing stone of the locking demon tower. Therefore, there is no need to be angry with this projection. He sat cross-legged on the ground and closed his eyes to rest. I won't go into details about what happened afterwards. It was roughly the same as Qiu Chang's times. In short, after Ling Yunpo left the secret realm, he quickly returned to the Shushan main formation. Then, he noticed that from the opposite side of the demon cult lineup, countless hostile eyes were cast on him. This is not surprising. After all, Ling Yunpo was in the secret realm. Only the cultivators of Cunning, Shushan, and Penglai sects were not killed. The rest were stabbed to death with a sword when they were caught. Who knows whether the other party is a cultivator of the demon cult or a cultivator of some unknown neutral sect? You said you have no hostility towards me, how do I know you don't? In this way, I will send you out of the secret realm first, and I can be sure that you have no hostility. Therefore, not only the Ingido that once opposed him, but also that cultivators of the other 4 sects have suffered from him. As for the cultivators of the neutral sects, the number of victims is countless, so it is not surprising that there is such strong hostility. Penglai has received Luoyuan and began to evacuate the area of the extreme North Tianzhu quickly. Kunlun also wants to withdraw, but Qiu Chang's time has not come out yet. Ling Yunpo noticed something wrong, because there are too many people on the side of the demon sect. It is estimated that some independent cultivators want to retaliate, but they're afraid of incurring the hostility of Shushan, so they deliberately mix in the demon sect to take advantage of the fire. It seems that a conflict with the demon cult is inevitable. He hurriedly found his master Su Jian and told him about this. Su Jian immediately sneered. You came just in time. Your master is annoyed that he could not enter the secret realm to practice sword. It is great that they come here to seek death now. Ling Yunpo broke out in a cold sweat when he heard this, and hurriedly persuaded. Master is naturally not afraid of these demon cult thieves, but the other side has many people and powerful forces. If the peak masters and elders have any mishaps, it will not be good. Now that Penglai has left, it is definitely too late to stay. Kunlun is still here. It is better to fight early than late, so that Kunlun can help us share some of the burden. Su Jian raised his eyebrows when he heard this, and subconsciously wanted to ask if this was necessary, but in the end, the master's instinct to protect his calf prevailed, and he waved his hand and said, Then do as you say. Some people on the Shushan side could not hold back and glared at the demon cult. As soon as Su Jian gave the order, countless sword lights shot out immediately and fought with the demon cult. Qiu Chang's time finally came out of the secret realm and returned to Kunlun's main formation. Master Ziwei quickly ordered a retreat. Some Shushan elders deliberately directed the attack to Kunlun, but Kunlun did not fall into the trap and sent a group of elders to defend. They blocked all the attacks and turned around and left without fighting. The two sides fought from noon to dusk. Shushan was in high spirits, but the demon cult was a little overwhelmed. Now that the clues have been obtained, it would only be a meaningless loss to fight with Shushan. Therefore, Wei Dongliu took the lead in leading people to retreat, and other sects followed closely, leaving behind unidentified casual cultivators to delay Shushan's attention, and soon they withdrew one after another. Ling Yunpo returned to Shushan and came to the locking demon tower with his master Su Jian, and told the secret realm motto and the long-browed immortal in detail. Very good. Very good. The long-browed immortal clapped his hands excitedly, his beard trembling as he laughed. Kim Fen, how do you want me to reward you? How can I ask for a reward when I work for my master? Ling Yunpo asked righteously. You should go and find the secret realm of the Great Light Palace. Chapter 978. Traitors also have true feelings. Of course not. The long-browed immortal was in a very good mood at this time. Seeing that Ling Yunpo did not take credit for himself, he liked him more and more. He simply took out a magic weapon and threw it to him, saying, Then I'll give you this. Ling Yunpo took a closer look and found that it was the Chuanguan ruler. He immediately rejected it subconsciously and said, "How can my disciple dare to possess such a treasure? If I give it to you, just take it." The long-browed immortal pointed his finger without saying anything, and the Chuan ruler spun around and fell into Ling Yunpo's sleeve. "Master," Su Jian said with a go, "this Chuan ruler is a necessary magic weapon for the lower Yuan cave. You give it to King Feng Jinren. If the sect wants to give out treasures in the future, then ask King Feng to escort you." The long-browed immortal laughed. Ling Yunpo touched the Chuan ruler in his sleeve, and his heart suddenly warmed up. Kunlun Dividing Treasure Rock and Shushan Yuan Cave refer to the fact that most of the treasures in Shushan Shanking sect are hidden in the Yuan Cave. There is Yuan's Gang in Yuan Cave. Even if a true immortal goes in, it is difficult to protect himself. He must rely on the defensive ability of Chuan ruler to isolate Yuan's Gang from the outside. At this time, the immortal Chanmei gave the Chuan ruler to Ling Yunpo, which means that no matter what treasures he wants in Yuan Cave, he can steal them. No, he can take them by himself. After all, as the Qin Sword Master of Shushan, he must have some noble privileges. After saying goodbye to Su Jian and the immortal Chanmei, Ling Yunpo returned to King Luo Peak leisurely, thinking about what to take. "I remember that there seems to be a fragment of Xifu in Yuan Cave. Now, among the last 3 thunders of Thunder method, Take Xiao Lei has been completely mastered, Yu Shen Lei is in the Sheneng secret realm, and Xifu Lei is in Shushan Yuan Cave. It can be said that there are basically clues. As long as he pursued it, he would have the hope of learning all the last 3 thunders, and then the 9 thunders would merge into one, and he would get the supreme Taji thunder, considering that he would betray that 3 pure ones and the hell sooner or later, and most of the cultivation world would be his enemy at the time. Then getting the Taji thunder would become a miss before he could seize the fragment of the heaven-fixing stone. But he couldn't get the purple palace thunder right away, otherwise it would be too impatient. He would wait until the next time someone wanted to go to the fire element cave, and then he would go down and take it. In fact, if he asked himself, Ling Yunpo didn't have much greed for the various treasures in the fire element cave, otherwise, as long as he became the head of Shushan, wouldn't he be able to take those treasures at will? After reaching the high-end realm today, the demand for various magic tools and Taoist arts has become quality is more important than quantity. For example, if Ling Yunpo wanted to control the sword, he could only control 3 swords at most now. If he wanted to activate the magic weapon or use the Taoist method, he would have to reduce 1 more. That is to say, no matter how high the rank of a flying sword is, it must be in the top 3 to have a chance to appear. Qin's Huming sword must take the first place, followed by Wang Chankun sword and Wang Xiang Weixin sword, and this place is full. As for the remaining Tianyuan Yeki sword, Lizi sword, Wanju sword, Bangui Shai Jin sword, Shualong Yin, etc. They can shine in the hands of various trumpets, but once they return to Chen Yonzu's original body, everyone will be back to the same starting line to compete for the position, and there is no chance at all. If I want to go to Yuan Cave to covet treasures and take a flying sword, it must at least be better than Wang Xiang Weixin sword and Ban Chankun sword. How many such magic swords can there be in the entire cultivation world, let alone Yuan Cave? Ling Yunpo was thinking deeply, and suddenly Nzisu pushed the door in from outside and said with a smile, "Junior brother, do you want to accompany me to drink?" "I will accompany you." Ling Yunpo smiled immediately. After staying in Shushan for a while, Ling Yunpo reloaded the game and went to Penglai, where he became the master of Tiangong Fang, Elder Jimnoon. Luo Yam's mission was probably the most clear. The fragments of the Butian stone were hidden in the secret space of the Wang Xiang Immortal. As long as he could practice the Sleep Kaiang Kung thoroughly, he could enter it at any time to get the fragments. Due to the scarcity of the Sleep Kaiang Kung itself, and the extremely secret location of the space entrance, there were probably not many defensive mechanisms in the space. You can ask Jim to confirm it when the time comes. If it doesn't work, use the Qin's Huming sword to force a breakthrough, and detonate all the restrictions. Luo Yan thought carefully, and suddenly saw Shilili knocking on the door from outside, and then pushed the door in. For a moment, he thought Lily was asking, "Will you accompany me to drink?" An illusion left by senior sister Anne, but he soon calmed down and smiled. "Lily, what's wrong?" "Come to see you." Shilili walked to the desk, picked up the scripture and took a look. "Husband, don't you study the formation recently?" "Oh, read some other miscellaneous books to relax." Luo Yan didn't remember what he was reading at the desk when he saved the file last time, so he could only respond casually. "If husband is free, there are several large orders to be done recently." Shilili continued, "After husband formed a baby, the reputation of our Tiangong Fan is also rising. Many old customers have the intention to place orders again. We must pay attention to this aspect. Luo Yam's face froze when he heard this, because Shilali's demeanor and tone really looked like the leader of the unit he worked in his previous life. Why can't I just sit back and relax now that I'm in the world of immortal heroes? Seeing Luo Yam's resistance, Shilali persuaded him earnestly. For these array-related commissions, the remuneration is actually secondary. The main thing is that the clients are all high-level monks from various sects, and the real power figures within the sect. Making friends with these high-level people is the key to my father's unique position in the sect when he was alive. If my husband is not good at socializing, I will accompany him when the time comes. Okay. Luo Yam had no choice but to agree. You entrust their array to me, and I will study it first. Okay. Shilali handed him the jade slip. Luo Yam was immersing his consciousness in it and looking at the jade slip, only to hear Shilali ask again. Husband, do you know about the previous, second senior sister? Second senior sister? Luo Yam was slightly startled at first, and then he reacted immediately. He was talking about Lady Kyan, the former second senior sister who betrayed Tiangong workshop. Since that betrayal, Shilali never mentioned this senior sister again. Why would he bring up the old matter now? What? Luo Yam frowned and asked, have you got any news about her? Shilali took out a letter and said, this letter was sent to our Tiangong Fang in a letter of entrustment from a certain sect. Luo Yam took it and scanned it, then unfolded it and saw that it said Dagyushi, Ghost Mother Sisters, on the 23rd of next month, Kagoshima. You mean, this is Lei Kyan telling us a message? He raised the letter and asked, reminding us to find the leader of the heavenly demon sect and avenge our master's death. I've read a fortune. Shilali hesitated and said, this trip shouldn't be dangerous. But from common sense, since the second sister is actually from the Hell Path, there is absolutely no reason for her to help us, the orthodox monks, to trouble the head of the heavenly demon sect, who is also one of the 6 paths. Luo Yam thought about it carefully. Shilali's worries were actually not wrong. Strictly speaking, Lady Kyan of Hell Road, Dugzi, the head of the heavenly demon road, and the elders of the Ghost Mother Sisters are in the same camp. But it is well known that it is easy to integrate into the role after wearing a mask for a long time. For example, although I am a traitor, I often have true feelings for Penglai and Tiangong Fang. Recalling what the person suspected to be Lei Kyan said at the gathering of Hell Road in the past, combined with the results of Shilali's hexagram, Luo Yam tended to think that this matter was probably true. Master's revenge, of course, must be avenged. Now at this stage, we are slowly filling in the pits of the early stage. I will take another leave today, and I will update alone. I still feel a little uncomfortable, but I don't have a cough, fever, or pain. If you ask me why I feel uncomfortable, I can't tell you. I suspect that I was infected by the Xiaoyan people in the author group through the network cable. Because the viral load is low, there are no symptoms, but I still need to rest well. Everyone take care of your health recently. Chapter 979 Ambush. Kagoshima is located in the far east of Penglai, very close to the border of the East China Sea in a broad sense. If you go further east, the number of islands will be greatly reduced, and the frequency of higher-level water monsters will increase greatly, so ordinary cultivators will not go there at all. Without Shilali's fortune-telling results, Luo Yam would never believe this information, even if Lady Kyan said those words at the Hell Road assembly. After all, if this is a trap, if the two are ambushed in Kagoshima, there would be no need to expect any Penglai cultivators to come and rescue them. Luo Yam took Shilali on the sword to the sea, and felt that the sea breeze seemed extra humid today. He turned around and saw Shilali looking at the distance expressionlessly, and there seemed to be faint traces of tears in the corners of her eyes. Seeing her husband looking at her, Shilali wiped her eyes calmly and said, "It's just water vapor." Oh. Luo Yam pretended to believe it and continued to look forward. Kagoshima is a large island, but because it is often hit by typhoons in summer, no human fishermen have settled on the island. It is an uninhabited island all year round. After Luo Yam arrived in Kagoshima, he first quickly scanned the entire island, and then took Shilali around the island for a week, but did not find any traces of monks. We came here 3 days in advance, so it is normal that there is no one. Shilali said calmly, "Next, please ask my husband to set up an illusion formation to cover our figures." Okay. Luo Yam found a secluded place with no one and overlooking the entire island, and began to set up the formation with the help of the mountain cover. Dugyishi and the Ghost Mother Sisters are all senior monks of the Heavenly Demon Dojo, and their cultivation in the nascent soul realm is also first class. In addition, the heavenly demon itself has a keen sense, so even if an illusion formation is set up in advance, it may not be able to hide the other party's reconnaissance eyes and ears. Luo Yam's real reliance is actually the illusion of the Kunlun mirror, of course. This does not need to be explained to Xie Luoli. He had to do the whole show, so he carefully selected an extremely high-level enchanting magic array and laid it out meticulously, with tripods, array flags, and everything else. After hiding in the magic array with Xie Luoli, Luo Yan finally instructed Kunlun Jin to cast an illusion on the two of them. At dusk on the third day, several black lights finally rushed in from afar and landed on the island. They were Dugyushi and the ghost mother and sister. Dugyushi was the leader of the heavenly demon sect, and usually dressed up as a beautiful woman in palace clothes, while the ghost mother and sister were hunchbacked old women. The ghost sister was skinny and the ghost sister had white hair. As soon as they landed, the ghost sister quickly released several heavenly demons and began to fly around the island, catching birds and beasts on the way and stuffing them into their mouths, so that there was blood rain and wailing everywhere. What? Dugyushi frowned and asked, "Don't you trust me? Think there's an ambush?" "It's not that I don't trust the sect master." Ghost sister chuckled, her wrinkled face full of malice. "Just to be on the safe side, make sure there's no one around." In the magic array, Shiluli held her breath and watched the demon fly over their heads, not noticing any clues at all. She breathed a sigh of relief and started thinking. The demon swept the entire island, leaving no living creatures behind. The ghost mother and sister were relieved and asked, "So the sect master called us sisters here, what's the matter?" Dugyushi said indifferently, "Why did you quarrel with Ling Yunsenrun a few days ago?" "I just didn't like her." The ghost sister sneered, "How dare Jin and Rensenrun point fingers at the seniors? The Ling Yunsenrun herself is naturally not to be feared." Dugyushi said indifferently, "But behind her is Wei Dongliu's Taoist partner Jianglin, and behind Jianglin is the Free Master. Are you going to rebel against the Master?" "Sect Master, you don't have to test me and my sister." The ghost sister said gloomily, "It's not certain whether the Master is the Master." Dugyushi also fell silent after hearing this. Indeed, people who are familiar with the Free Master know that this sect guarding immortal suddenly changed his temperament since some time ago. The original Master Zizari liked vanity, fame and wealth, and loved to listen to others' flattery. Therefore, almost all the owning elders of the heavenly demon are good at speaking beautiful words. He was extravagant and lustful to the inside, but sarcastic and mean to the outside, moody, and acted based on likes and dislikes rather than reason. Therefore, he had a bad relationship with the venerable White Bone and the old ancestor of the Sea of Blood. However, I don't know when, this master suddenly changed his temper. First, he no longer regularly invited the owning elders to hold a boasting meeting. He lived in the palace on the top of Japan Mountain all day long, and I don't know what he was doing. Secondly, he occasionally summoned the owning elders, but he was indifferent to their flattery and praise, and always maintained a smiling expression. Finally, the thing that everyone couldn't understand the most was his unlimited trust and love for Jianglin. Generally speaking, although most of the female cultivators of the heavenly demon were beautiful, most of them were single. The few who found a Taoist partner would generally leave the sect immediately and become independent cultivators. Jianglin was an exception. She had been a disciple of Elder Kai in her early years, but Elder Kai suddenly disappeared. She then changed her ways and became a disciple of Patriarch Zizahir, which was like soaring to the sky. Then she married Wei Dongliu at the Immortal Duo. Logically, she should have left the Heavenly Demon Duo, but Patriarch Zizahir still trusted her and even asked the Heavenly Demon Duo to cooperate with the Immortal Duo on many occasions because of her suggestions. Although everyone did not dare to protest, most of them were quite dissatisfied in their hearts. The Patriarch has indeed been acting strangely recently. Dugyushi said indifferently, but if there really is some demon that has taken over the Patriarch's body, these doubts are not enough to serve as evidence. You have to find the evidence yourself, not guess. The ghost girl said with a giggle, "Since the sect leader has asked my sister and me to come out, I guess you have a plan, right?" Dugyushi was silent for a moment, then said, "I suspect that Jianglin has also been taken over by the demon. If we can subdue Jianglin first and torture the Patriarch to get information, we can get solid evidence. Then we can go to the ghost to White Bone Venerable for help. Attract external forces." The ghost sister sneered sarcastically, "In that case, even if we can kill the demon that has taken over the Patriarch's body, the demon Duo will become a vassal of the ghost Duo. According to the current situation, it will sooner or later become a vassal of the Immortal Duo." Dugyushi said bluntly, "The demon Duo, which has no sect guarding immortal, can still have a glimmer of hope in the cracks if it can induce the ghost Duo and the Immortal Duo to fight each other. But if we don't make plans sooner or later, our orthodoxy will be taken away by others, and your lives will be controlled by others. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Mundo Fanfic Novelers, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelers. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 980. Let's run away. These people want to deal with my wife. Wait, my wife has been possessed by a demon. Luo Yan was shocked and angry, but after all, Shili was by his side, so he didn't dare to show any abnormality on his face. However, rather than saying that she was possessed, it would be better to say that she was originally a demon. There were too many flaws in the past, and the Kunlun mirror reminded me overtly and covertly, so it was difficult for me to pretend that I didn't know. Now it's good, if the little fox in Linglong is just a demon, then Wei Donliu's wife has simply become a demon. Oh, run away! Luo Yan was thinking, and he heard Shili ask beside him, "Husband, are you sure you can deal with these three people?" "It's hard to say." Luo Yan shook his head. "Although I have the 5 elements divine light, the Wang Time Kun sword, and the Tiangong treasure bag, it is really hard to say that I have a 100% chance of keeping all of these 3 demon elders who were in the late stage of the nascent soul realm and have rich experience in fighting at the same time. But if the Qin's human sword can be deployed, the chances of crushing the opponent will be greater, but it is obvious that this will not work." "Husband." Shili threw out a copper coin and said thoughtfully, "I have made a fortune." "Husband, this trip should not be dangerous." "Of course, just in case, husband still has to act carefully. The fortune shows that the ghost mother's sister suffers from internal injuries and is not good at last, so she can be killed last. There is a rift and suspicion between Dugyishi and the ghost mother's sister, so you can adjust the offensive appropriately, secretly attack the ghost mother's sister, and make her suspicious of Dugyishi. Among the 3, Dugyishi is the strongest and needs to be carefully guarded." "I know." Luo Yan then told her, "I will go out to deal with them, and you can rest here for a while and wait for your husband to come back for revenge." Well, Shili also knew that in terms of fighting strength, she was really no match for the 3 enemies, and rashly joining the battle would only become a burden to her husband. So Luo Yan used the magic to quietly move towards the 3 people. The 3 people were still testing each other with words. If the demon who took over Jinglian's body also has the strength of an immortal, how should we deal with it? Ghost Sister asked with a strange and evil smile. "It doesn't matter, I will take action." Dugyishi said indifferently. "Could it be that you?" Ghost Sister showed astonishment, and just wanted to say could it be that the sect master has ascended to heaven, only to hear Dugyishi say again, "I have recently practiced a secret method that is specifically used to trap the demon. Even if he turns into a great and free demon, he can be trapped for at least an incense stick of time." The ghost mother and sisters were all speechless. "It turned out that your move was to trap the demon, and then we escaped to the Ingido to ask for help, right?" Thinking of this, both of them felt a little sad. The former direct line of the Jirijiao and Modo, now even the sect's immortal is gone, and it has to rely on other sects to clean up the internal situation. Can this sect really be maintained? It's better to run away with the money. Just as the two were thinking this, a sword light suddenly shot out from the darkness and arrived in front of them in an instant. "Oh no. This dog leader is ambushing us." The sisters of the ghost mother were originally invited by Dugyishi to come out, so they were very cautious. When they were suddenly attacked, they immediately believed that Dugyishi was attacking them. The elder sister immediately threw out many demon heads, spewing black mist everywhere in the air, trying to distract and confuse Dugyishi's attention. The younger sister quickly pinched the Taoist formula and quickly shot out a small sword from her mouth, piercing Dugyishi's heart under the cover of the black mist. Dugyishi was also suddenly startled when he saw the sword light rushing towards the elder sister of the ghost mother, and hurriedly released the demon head to protect himself, but he never thought that the sisters of the ghost mother would misunderstand and attack him first. When the small sword broke through the black mist and got close to her, she finally realized that something was wrong. The small sword pierced her chest, and the venom in it quickly burst out, and was soon sealed by Dugyishi with a secret method. Luo Yan could see clearly from behind, and could not help but feel secretly happy. My wife said that these 3 people have a grudge against each other, and it turned out to be true. I just made a sneak attack, and they thought that the other party was going to attack me, so they would fight each other internally first. Dugyishi was attacked, and although he felt that there was a trick, he could not just take the beating without fighting back. She first used the secret magic body substitution method to virtualize the injury on her chest, and then pinched the dough formula with hatred, and suddenly a large piece of black mist burst out from her body. Among the many secret methods of the heavenly demon dough, most of the spells are a group of black mist, except for summoning demons to attack, but the power can be very different. Some black mists only act as temporary blinders to isolate the enemy's sight and consciousness. Some black mists contain filthy characteristics, deliberately luring the opponent's flying sword magic weapon to shoot into it, and then pollute it and lose its spirituality. Other black mists contain extremely sinister power, which can cause people's flesh to necrotize, their souls to perish, and they don't even have the chance to reincarnate. All of the above look like black mist, so that the cultivators outside could not tell them apart. Only the cultivators in the heavenly demonic path could tell one thing or another. When the ghost mother and sisters saw the black mist burst out from Dagyushi's body and spread rapidly around in the shape of billowing smoke, 4 or 5 or 6 extremely vicious spells flashed through their minds. They were immediately shot and quickly used their secret methods to retreat. Luoyang took the opportunity to put his hands together, and the innate 5 elements of chaos divine light burst out, attacking the ghost mother and sisters from behind. In front of them was Dagyushi's hateful attack, and behind them was Luoyang's 5 elements divine light. Under the double attack, the ghost mother and sisters, who were caught off guard, had nowhere to escape. They could only use their defensive secret methods on the spot and block many demons in front of them to resist. As Dagyushi's black fog spread, all kinds of strange demons wailed, screamed, and roared. Black flames rose from their bodies as if they were covered in oil. They wanted to escape but could not. They were firmly controlled by the ghost mother and sisters to block the guns, and finally managed to keep the black fog out. But the demons were not so lucky on Luoyang's 5 elements divine light. Once they touched the divine light, they would melt away in an instant like snow under the scorching sun. By the time the ghost mother and sisters reacted, the 5 elements divine light had already washed in front of them like a tide. The ghost mother's younger sister screamed and activated the secret method to escape quickly. The ghost mother's elder sister wanted to do the same, but the tide had already surrounded her, and then it rotated and squeezed towards the center like a whirlpool, accompanied by the brilliance of various spells and magic weapons shattered one after another, and finally turned into nothingness in the rapid screams. Luoyang attacked with an unexpected surprise, killing the ghost mother's sister first. He quickly pinched the doge and turned the 5 elements divine light in the opposite direction. He ignored the ghost mother's sister who fled to the distance, and focused on attacking Dagyushi. As the leader of the heavenly demon sect, Dagyushi would certainly not sit and wait for death. He just bit his tongue with resentment, spit out a drop of blood, and sprayed it at a demon in front of him. The demon's figure suddenly grew to 7 or 8 feet, and the indigo color on his body became extremely deep. He opened his terrifying bloody mouth and roared at the 5 elements divine light. The sound waves were deafening and rolled out, even forming a tangible large-scale sound wave, barely resisting the 5 elements divine light. This sound wave had nothing to do with the 5 elements, so it was not restrained by the 5 elements too. It can be seen that Dagyushi had a sharp eye and recognized the opposite side's Taoism at a glance. Luoyang knew that his identity had been exposed, so he simply stopped hiding himself and showed up in front of Dagyushi. Before he spoke, he had already ordered Arjun, use the illusion. Today is also a single update. Something happened at home. I won't go into details about it, everyone can guess, it's too difficult. Chapter 981. Revenge. The Kunlun Mirror's illusion had even affected the Ziwi sect master who was chasing Wei Dongliu, so Dagyushi was no exception. She froze in place, as if she had lost her soul, but soon a black light shone around her body, as if a magic weapon she carried with her was activated. In order to deal with the demons who were good at illusions, most of the demon monks carried magic weapons that could automatically break illusions, which could be triggered at the moment when the monks lost their minds. Dagyushi quickly used the power of the magic weapon to break free from the illusion. When she came to her senses, she saw a small mountain falling from above her head, and it was already at a height close to her. When she realized that she was under an illusion, she also knew that the other party would definitely use the strongest killing move while she was controlled, so after breaking free, she quickly pinched the dough formula in her hand, ready to activate the self-defense magic at any time. But a mountain falling from the top of her head was far from being defended by any magic. Dagyushi was about to withdraw and retreat, but suddenly a magic weapon blocked her way, spun half a circle, and hit her head straight. Fantian Yin. Dagyushi was stunned, and was not careful for a moment, so the Fantian Yin smashed his skull, and red and white were everywhere. Luo Yan had no expression on his face, and the mountain peak continued to smash the other party's body, and the 5-colored divine light surrounded it, leaving no gaps. Faced with this situation where he couldn't fly away, Dugyishi finally gritted his teeth and emerged from the surroundings, and the original body turned into a demon head, and flew into her sleeve with a strange giggle. "Is the one opposite Elder Jinoon?" Dugyishi asked loudly, and threw out many demon heads again, using the sound of the demon to barely resist the invasion of the 5 elements divine light. "You know it, why don't you die quickly?" Luo Yan answered casually, injecting more true essence into the 5 elements divine light, suppressing the demon heads and screaming in panic. "I know you came to kill me just for revenge." Dugyishi struggled to hold on under the pressure of the innate 5 elements divine light, and shouted loudly, "But there was actually someone else who wanted to kill your master in the past. Otherwise, how can we know the whereabouts of your master? If you kill me now, it will be impossible to know the identity of the person." Luo Yan hesitated for a moment after hearing this, but heard Shilili say beside him, "Don't stop, continue." She had left the formation at some point and came to Luo Yan's side, staring indifferently at Dugyishi, who was trapped by the innate 5 elements divine light. "That person not only murdered your master," Dugyishi continued to shout, "he also planned to attack Tiangong Fang. The life of Master Dongyu is also in the other party's plan." Luo Yan frowned when he heard this, thinking that it would be fine if his master could not be saved, but my wife must not be lost, so it would be better to keep this thief alive and interrogate him carefully for information. "Ignore her," Shilili ordered Luo Yan, and then said to Dugzi, "No matter who this person is, we will send him down to accompany you soon." "You're crazy." Dugzi was overwhelmed by the 5 elements divine light, and shouted angrily, "You can't guess the identity of the person, and now I'm the only one who knows who he is. If I die, he will target you later, and the entire Tiangong workshop will be doomed. You're finished." "He won't let you go." The shouting stopped abruptly. Dugzi had been hit on the forehead by the Fanchen seal, and his entire head exploded. Luo Yan scanned and confirmed that the other party had fallen, then he dispersed the 5 elements divine light, retracted the Fantian seal, frowned and asked Shilili, "Luli, the person she was talking about, do you really believe it?" Shilili glanced at him and said, "It's just a trick the other party used to delay time when he was about to die. Who can command the leader of the heavenly demon sect to do things?" "That's right." Luo Yan was still a little worried, but what if? There are no what ifs. Shilili shook his head and said, "Even if there really is this mastermind behind the scenes, and he used a knife to kill someone, then with the other party's level of caution, how could he leak his identity to Dugyishi? If you are worried and spare her life, with the strange magic of the heavenly demon sect, she will inevitably find a gap to escape. Let's not talk about these for now. Didn't someone escape just now?" "Yes." Luo Yan reacted immediately, "There is another enemy." The two hurried in the direction of the ghost mother's sister. At this time, the other party had already escaped from the scanning range of Kunlun Mirror, and the specific location could not be located, but with Shilili's fortune-telling technique, they could barely find the approximate direction of the other party's escape. Following the route indicated by the hexagram, the two flew all the way with swords, and only heard Shilili continue to say, "The other party has internal injuries and can't hold on for long. We need to speed up to force the other party to exhaust his true energy as soon as possible." "That's easy." Luo Yan stretched out his hand and patted the Tiangong by Bahu bag, and took out a small wooden boat. The wooden boat looked very simple, but as the two people got on the boat, it began to fly automatically without wind, and then flew faster and faster, and finally even exceeded the speed of the sword-riding technique, and swept across the sea at lightning speed. This divine boat is called Xiu, and it is the fastest first-class magic weapon in the world. Luo Yan said proudly, "My husband uses his true essence to drive it, and the speed is twice as fast as the full-strength sword of a Immortal Cultivator. The enemy will definitely not escape." "Yes, I know," Shilili said, "I have ridden it before." "Has my wife used this magic weapon before?" Luo Yan asked in surprise. "That was before my husband joined the Tiangong workshop," Shilili replied. "I was about 7 or 8 years old. I rode it once when I accompanied my father on a trip, and then I often stole this magic weapon to go out and play." As she said that, she pinched a few more Taoist formulas and put the seal into the wooden boat, so the speed of the Xiu boat increased by another 3 points. Luo Yan, "Well, my Tiangong by Bahu bag, the many powerful magic weapons in it, are probably already in the shape of my wife." After running for half an hour, the back of the ghost mother's sister finally emerged on the sea level in the distance. Luo Yan was quick-witted and quick-handed. He pinched the dough formula and flew the Wang Time Kun sword over. The ghost mother's sister hurriedly stopped and changed direction, dodging the stab of the Wang Time Kun sword, and then swung her sleeves to spit out many demons in succession, trying to delay Luo Yan and the others' pursuit. As a result, the seawater below suddenly surged upwards. It was Shillelagh who controlled the star sand magic weapon to fly quietly along the sea surface, disguised as waves, and then suddenly attacked from the bottom of the opponent's feet. The ghost mother's sister was caught off guard and was hit in the lower body by the star sand at close range. She immediately couldn't maintain the posture of flying the sword. Luo Yan took the opportunity to use the 5 elements divine light to brush the opponent, so the ghost mother's sister screamed for a moment, and her body was annihilated in the 5-color light. Finally killed, after avenging the master's blood feud, Luo Yan felt a big stone fall from his heart. He turned his head to look at Shillelagh, but found that there was not much joy or sadness on her face, as if she had just done something insignificant. "My wife?" Luo Yan asked tentatively. "In this way, master's revenge is avenged, right?" "Yes." Shillelagh nodded lightly. "How do you feel now?" Shillelagh was silent for a moment, and replied, "I feel, the part of my heart that was originally occupied by hatred has now become empty." Luo Yan was so distressed when he heard this that he turned around and hugged Shillelagh's soft body, stroking her back to comfort her. Shillelagh just let him hold her, without saying a word, and somehow in her mind, the scene of her husband killing Dagishi flashed. The innate 5 elements divine light, Wang Time Kun sword, Fanchen seal, whether it is Taoism, flying swords or magic weapons, are already the top level in the entire cultivation world, compared to the elder Changzheng of Kunlun and the Qin sword master of Shushan. I'm afraid it's not much worse. My husband is so powerful, if he is just the master of Tiangong Fang and a Yuning elder, isn't it too much of a waste of talent? Chapter 982 Smooth. After returning to Penglai, Shillelagh's mood became surprisingly good. Luo Yan went to the sword-making workshop to watch her forge swords, and she peeled an orange for him to eat. Luo Yan felt like he had returned to Mishid version 1.0 for the first time in a long time, and couldn't help but burst into tears. Well, probably because her long-cherished wish has been fulfilled, her original bitter and vengeful temperament has disappeared. Think about it carefully, wasn't it me who avenged my master? The revitalization of Tiangong Workshop was also achieved in my hands. My wife's 2 biggest wishes were both fulfilled by me. Isn't this the epitome of a good man? In this way, if I owe her something in the future because I stole the fragment of the booty and stone and left Yu King Temple, at least I can make up for it in these matters. All sorts of things. In the sea of consciousness, Su Mingjian began to stir up trouble again, and said to Kumlinjing with a smile, "Jin, do you think there are so many all sorts of things?" "If you ask me," Kumlinjing said with a straight face, "not even 1 or 2 out of 10. Then the difference in your values is too big." Su Mingjian said in surprise. "No, he doesn't understand Shillelagh at all." Kumlinjing said coldly, "If these 2 things are really put on the scale, one side is to accompany her husband, and the other side is to revitalize Tiangong Fang and pay for her father, Shillelagh will definitely choose the former without hesitation." "Is that so?" Su Mingjian thought. Then she is so happy now, it's because she feels satisfied to see her husband take the risk to avenge her. Kumlinjing acted like an experienced person, and commented from a high vantage point, "In short, this guy plans to abandon his wife and children after repairing the sky, and I absolutely cannot accept it." "Abandon his wife and children?" Su Mingjian asked in surprise, "Where are the children?" "If you abandon your current wife, isn't it the same as giving up your future children?" Kumlinjing argued. Su Mingjian, "I always feel that this mirror is really more and more like him. Never mind, I just want to have fun." After a while, as Luo Yan signed orders for formations from major sects in Shenzhou, the status of Tiangong Fang in Yu King Penglai Temple also rose. Many elders from other factions, such as those who made alchemy, collected herbs, drew talismans, etc., came to talk to Luo Yan and get acquainted with him, hoping that he could help bring some goods to many big customers. During the conversation, Luo Yan learned from one of the elders that Kunlun had sent an envoy recently to discuss important matters with Penglai. After a quick calculation of the date, Luo Yan immediately guessed that Kunlun had obtained the news of the Kaibao Chuan Yuan secret realm and came to Penglai to do favors. The 3 pure ones of the Orthodox Church are of the same blood, but some sects are even more closely related. Kunlun needed to win over Penglai to suppress Shushan, and Penglai wanted to cling to the big brother's thigh, so if we calculate the date, Penglai received the news earlier than Shushan. The earlier the news was known, the earlier the Inning Realm elders could be mobilized, the earlier the personnel could be arranged, and even targeted preparations could be made. Cumlin's good intentions can be imagined. Unfortunately, Penglai was really disappointing. The head of Krishanda quickly convened a sect meeting, called many Inning Realm elders together, and told them the news of the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm. The whole audience was silent. Everyone looked at their noses and their noses looked at their hearts, and it was clear that they didn't want to go. The Kshanda sect master had no choice but to say, Cumlin's intention is to learn from the lesson of the last golden secret realm. This time, the demon sect is likely to attack in large numbers. Except for the elders who are guarding the sect, everyone who can go should follow me. We will discuss who will enter the secret realm there. What the sect master said is very true. An elder agreed, in that case, I will stay in the sect. Hey! Elder Chuan Yuan, you lost to me in the sword duel last time. Another elder interrupted him and said, if you want to guard the sect, I should stay. Everyone was arguing and the scene was noisy. They all wanted to stay and were unwilling to go to the extreme North Tianzhu to participate in the secret realm selection. The Kshanda sect master sighed in his heart, feeling that he had to call out the names of the men this time. Suddenly, he caught a glimpse of Luo Yan, who was standing behind that team calmly, with an expression of it doesn't matter, I will take action. Well, Elder Jin Dun was still calm. Unlike other elders, who quarreled over a quota to stay in the sect, where was their dignity? Thinking of Elder Jin Dun, the head of Kshanda suddenly remembered his Taoist partner, Master Dongyu, the only daughter left by Elder Shiding. The quality of the flying swords she cast has been getting better and better recently. However, what everyone talked about more was not the flying swords she cast, but her magical skills in divination. It is said that everything she divinations will be correct, and everything she divinations will be correct, so many elders privately want to ask her for divination. The only problem is that Tiangong Fan does not have a divination business, and asking Master Dongyu for divination can only be done by favors. And favors are something that no one wants to give out easily, so not many people really go to her. When his mind turned to this, the head of Kshanda thought of the 7 treasures Chuan Yuan secret realm again. Each secret realm has its own unique trial. Baiyuzheng is about force, and Jinke is about wisdom, so what will the trial of the 7 treasures Chuan Yuan be? If it's not force or wisdom, then could it be related to magic? It's a pity that Master Dongyu hasn't formed his nascent soul yet, otherwise he would definitely go this time. Jin Noon. The Kshanda sect leader called him by name. What do you think? Luo Yan. Wait, are you calling me? He was a little confused because the format of this sentence was too familiar. Qiu Cheng Time has been designated as the successor to the sect leader, so the Ziwili sect leader often asks for his opinion in front of the whole sect to help him gain fame and prestige. On the Shushan side, Su Jian doesn't like to use his brain, and doesn't trust others, so he simply lets his disciples help him make suggestions. Luo Yan, I have just been promoted to the nascent soul realm not long ago, and I haven't shown my talents. How come the Penglai sect leader called me to speak? What does the sect leader mean? Luo Yan asked cautiously. Who do you think should go? Who shouldn't go? The Kshanda sect leader explained with a smile. It's none of my business. Luo Yan complained silently in his heart, but said, the elders who stay in the sect must be strong. Otherwise, if there are villains who take advantage of the emptiness inside the sect and come to attack, it will not be good. Not bad. Among the elders, several with relatively high realms agreed. But the risk in that secret realm must be very high. Luo Yan continued to analyze and said, if you want to let people go in, it is better to arrange elders with high realms, so that no matter what kind of trial it is, they can deal with it more easily. His words were too round, seemingly analyzing everything, but in fact no conclusion was drawn, so that the head of Kshanda smiled bitterly for a moment and said, then let's do it according to the old rules. I will talk to the immortal and come up with a list. The head is wise. Luo Yan complimented with the other elders, laughing in his heart. Am I that stupid? You ask me, I give you advice. If the advice is useful, won't you come to ask me next time? The head of Kshanda announced the end of the meeting and was about to go to Onxiang Immortal to discuss, but suddenly he had a change of mind. Why not call Dongyu Immortal over and let her tell him who is more suitable to go to the secret realm? Chapter 983. Keeping it fair, 2-in-1. After the meeting, the Kshanda sect leader called Luo Yan aside and told him his purpose. You want Lily to use divination to decide the list of players to go into battle. Luo Yan was also shocked by the sect leader's idea. Isn't this too much of a joke? How about you quit being the sect leader and let my wife make all the decisions in the future? The Kwandu sect leader naturally knew what Luo Yan meant. The decision itself is not troublesome, the key is that the decision maker should be responsible for the decision. If she really makes the decision by fortune telling, what if the decision is wrong? Should she really be held responsible? Sect leader, if you avoid talking about this, then I will just laugh. Actually, I won't hide it from you. The Kwandu sect leader didn't say anything nonsense. The Immortal said that if Master Dongyi's fortune-telling ability is indeed as good as the rumor in the sect, every prediction is correct, then it's not a bad idea to let her be the next sect leader. Luo Yan. He was startled at first, and subconsciously thought that the Kwandu sect master was testing him, and immediately shook his head and said, "My Lily has no interest in the power of this sect, who isn't?" The Kwandu sect master sneered, "Who in our Penglai King temple is interested in power? Even when I became the sect master, it was because the other two candidates for the sect master, one pretended to be possessed, and the other went out and dared not come back, so the Immortal had no choice but to force the position of the sect master on me." Luo Yan. Why don't I know about this? Oh, this kind of thing, whether it is the sect master or the Immortal, naturally will not talk about it outside. It is normal that no one has mentioned it. Jin Noon. Seeing that Luo Yan was unmoved, the Kwandu sect master gently advised, if this becomes the sect master, it is actually not as troublesome as you think. First of all, as the Penglai sect master, the resources in Yu King temple are almost equal to what you can take. Luo Yan listened and didn't take it seriously. Do you think I haven't been a successor to the sect master? I don't know the ins and outs of this. Yes, becoming the headmaster can indeed use the resources of the sect at will, but the problem is that they are all capable of being the headmaster, so how can ordinary cultivation resources be considered by them? What they really need are the world's top secret treasures and treasures. And these treasures are basically held by the Immortals who guard the sect. Do you think I don't know? Secondly, Kwandu sect leader continued to persuade, if you can become the sect leader of Penglai, then when you encounter some troublesome things in the future, you can easily seek benefits and avoid harm. For example, this trip to the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm, if I, as the sect leader, force you to go, can you not go? But if your wife becomes the sect leader and wants to arrange some easy work for you, isn't it simple? The sect leader, Luo Yan said with a wry smile, it's useless to tell me this, you have to ask Lily what she thinks. Of course. Kwandu sect leader nodded and said, but who is more suitable to send to the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm this time? You must ask Dongyi to help calculate. After saying that, Kwandu sect leader waved his sleeves to send him away. Luo Yan left the main hall and suddenly reacted. Wait, it's obviously to order us to do something. Why is it suddenly linked to the successor of the sect leader? Forget it, as long as I am not the sect leader, it's fine. Back to Tiangong workshop, Luo Yan came to the sword casting room and told Shilili about the matter. Shilili was also at a loss whether to laugh or cry. She had originally been thinking about whether she could let her husband fight for the position of the headmaster, but the Immortal actually intended to give it to her. Thinking about it carefully, although her husband is the owner of Tiangong workshop, in fact, many affairs in the workshop are basically handled by me, this is no secret in Penglai. The head of Kwandu knows that her husband is so lazy, how could he dare to hand over the position of the next headmaster to her husband? Even if her husband becomes the headmaster, he still has to throw things to me to deal with. What's the difference between that and letting me be the headmaster? Seeing that Shilili was silent, Luo Yan asked cautiously, Madam, what do you mean? Let's talk about the successor to the headmaster later. Shilili said casually, unless the Immortal speaks, everything is just idle talk and doesn't count. As for fortune telling, I can tell, but I can't reveal that I told it. Madam means, Luo Yan just pondered for a moment, and immediately understood what Shilili meant. This list is an offensive thing. After all, Penglai is full of lazy people. No one wants to be on the list. Shilili can tell fortunes, but it can only be used as a secret reference. The final result is still decided by the headmaster and the Immortal. Of course. Luo Yan agreed immediately. This is also good. At least Penglai has my wife to take over. On the one hand, I can leave calmly after getting the fragments of the sky-making stone. On the other hand, my wife has this status and will not be easily implicated by me after the incident. A few days later, the Wongsai Immortal came to Shilili in person to ask her about fortune-telling. Shilili silently told the fortune and calculated for a long time. Finally, she calculated a list and handed it to the Wongsai Immortal. The Wonksang Immortal looked at it for a long time, frowned and said, "No problem, but why is your name not on it?" "The junior has not formed an infant, so I haven't calculated it," Shilly replied. "Last time you went to the prison dragon well, didn't you get the opportunity with your husband?" The Wonksang Immortal asked in surprise. "That's it," Shilly replied. "Now the Golden Core Realm has been completed, but the tribulation has not yet been passed. Then arrange for the tribulation as soon as possible." Wonksang Immortal turned to look at Luoyan and ordered, "As a Taoist companion, you must also pay attention to the matter of Master Dongyu's tribulation." Luoyan was ashamed when he heard this. He had switched back and forth so many accounts that he had indeed forgotten Shilli's path. Last time, it was Wonksang Immortal who provided the clues of the prison dragon well. In the end, the two successfully found the opportunity and let Shilly advance to the great perfection of the away stage. It was only because there were many affairs in Tiangongfang that she was busy dealing with them after returning, so she had not passed the tribulation. Alas, Tiangongfang is a big toolmaker after all, and there is nothing they can do about it. It's understandable. Wonksang Immortal groped in his storage bag for a long time, as if he wanted to get a magic weapon for Shilly to protect him, but soon he suddenly realized it and pointed at Luoyan and said with a smile, "With you, a master of formations, how difficult is it to form a baby's heavenly tribulation? If there is a problem with Master Dongyu's tribulation, the sect will have to settle accounts with you." Luoyan smiled and nodded in response. Sister Zhu and Sister An are both powerful warriors with rich experience in fighting. With a strong foundation of Taoism, they are naturally not afraid of this infant's heavenly tribulation. But Shilly has only a cultivation realm, and her experience in fighting is far inferior to that of my two wives. When encountering emergencies during the heavenly tribulation, her adaptability and reaction ability must be weaker. I still have to get some powerful formations to help her avoid it. However, Lily formed a second-grade golden elixir at the beginning, right? This second-grade golden elixir can only form a divine infant at most, so the difficulty of the heavenly tribulation should not be that difficult. After sending off the Wonksang Immortal, Luoyan began to tell Shilly in detail about the many celestial phenomena and changes that he had experienced when he was overcoming the tribulation. "I see." Shilly nodded calmly. "It doesn't sound difficult." "That's right, my lady, just relax." Luoyan smiled. Shilly remained silent, thinking that since you have successfully overcame the tribulation, of course you would hide those embarrassing things in your memory and beautify yourself. This infant formation tribulation, as one of the three major thresholds for practitioners, has a passing rate of less than 1%. How can it be so simple? She calculated silently in her heart and went over the many methods she had in her mind several times. Originally, I planned to go through the tribulation in the most calm manner after making all the preparations, but now that the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm is about to open, the sect wants to name me to participate, so it's not good to delay the matter of forming an infant. Let's start overcoming the tribulation. Although Luoyan said it with confidence, he felt a little unsure and he went back and thought about it. He naturally had enough confidence in junior sisters Yu and senior sister An, but Mishi's actual combat ability was really weak. If she failed to pass the tribulation, he would not be able to help her. Wait, calm down, I remember that Shilly should have successfully participated in the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm in Kyo Chain Time's story. In this case, it's okay. Although he said it was okay, when the day of the tribulation came, Luoyan still took out his trump card. He imitated the secret realm formation of the Jinghan Temple and arranged a simple shelter formation for Shilly. The tripod responsible for the formation was secretly embedded with a fragment of the sky-making stone, which forcibly raised the rank of the tripod to the level of a postnatal spiritual treasure. TSK. Suming Jian said teasingly, "Master Sword Master, you didn't care so much about junior sisters Yu and senior sister An at the beginning, does this count as favoritism?" "Of course not." Luoyan explained very skillfully, junior sisters Yu and senior sister An are very strong, so it is basically a sure thing for them to pass the tribulation. Shilly is too weak, so she needs some small help from me. It's like a parent having several children, and one of the children comes from a poor family, so the parents will naturally help him more. This is also a manifestation of treating everyone equally. Suming Jian was amazed. "Don't argue with him," Kunlun Mirror reminded, "he is just lazy and wants to smooth things over. If Shilly's strength was not too weak, it would be impossible for you to ask him to help more. This really has nothing to do with favoritism or anything." Having said that, Su Mingjian said with emotion, but with the booty and stone as a weapon to stabilize the formation, it's no problem to let a pig go through the tribulation, right? You can't say that. Kunlun Mirror argued seriously, it is still quite difficult for a pig to go through the tribulation, mainly because it will walk around, right? A moment later, when Shillelagh began to formally go through the tribulation, both the mirror and the sword were stunned. Isn't this swordsmanship too bad? Su Mingjian said in astonishment, even if it is a low-level flying sword used to perish together, it is a basic requirement to detonate a thunderbolt with one sword. Isn't she wasting too much? Slow reaction. Kunlun Mirror commented, the speed of the thunderbolt is too fast, and the direction is weird. The chance to lock it with eyesight is only a moment. If you can't hit the thunderbolt accurately, but instead brush it from the edge, it means that the flying sword is melted by the heat of the thunderbolt and can't detonate the thunderbolt itself. A mirror and a sword were chatting there, and Luo Yan, who was guarding the outer perimeter of the heavenly tribulation, could no longer hold his expression. Although there was the protection of the fragments of the sky-making stone, it was limited by the resources and time to set up the formation, and it was impossible to set up a very sophisticated formation. Therefore, in just a short time, countless thunderbolts hit the formation, seriously depleting the energy stored in the formation itself. The main reason is that Shillelagh is too bad at dealing with it. Using a flying sword to shoot the thunderbolt, it can actually miss 5 out of 10 times. He wanted to remind Shillelagh not to use your crap of swordsmanship anymore, it would be useless even if there were more flying swords. But this place was too far away from the center of the heavenly tribulation, and there was no way to send a message there smoothly. At this moment, in the scanning field of vision, Shillelagh suddenly threw up a copper plate and quickly cast a hexagram. Then she put away her flying sword, and quickly pinched the Do formula, launching the Southern Dipper Galaxy secret art. A large amount of galaxy water gushed out, rolled up along the formation, and defeated all the thunderbolts. That's right. Luo Yan finally breathed a sigh of relief. Using the sword technique to fight the thunderbolt requires very precise eyesight and reaction speed. Shillelagh does not have the ability in this regard, so it is better to use the large-scale Taoist method such as the Galaxy Secret Art to clear the thunderbolts more efficiently. But the large-scale Taoist method will also have a lot of consumption. Lily's breathing technique is the 5-latitude Jintian secret record. Although it is also a high-level key refining technique, the true essence may not be able to support it. Look. Kunlun Mirror suddenly reminded, she is not using the water of the Milky Way. Luo Yan followed Arjun's reminder and looked carefully, only to find that Shillelagh did not simply summon the water of the Milky Way from the starry sky, but used a small amount of the Milky Way water to roll back the seawater below, using local materials. Whether it is the consumption of true essence or the efficiency of the operation of the technique, it is more than twice faster than the original Nando Xinghe secret technique. It's worthy admirably. Luo Yan finally breathed a sigh of relief, in this way, it's a short thing. Not necessarily. Kunlun Mirror said seriously, above the sea, the water environment has a great bonus to water-based spells. But if the robbery thunder also turns to water, how will she deal with it then? Luo Yan was speechless for a moment, and secretly worried about Shillelagh. However, after a long time, the type of thunder in the sky changed again and again, but there was no water thunder. Lucky. Kunlun Mirror couldn't help but sigh, and then the voice suddenly stopped. Lucky, Luo Yan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I didn't expect that after so many years, Miss Shi has evolved from version 1.0 to version 2.0, and she can still bring the initial strong luck talent. It's really incredible. One person and one mirror were sighing here, and suddenly I saw Shillelagh's expression changed, revealing a little pain. But it was the infire that suddenly ignited from the soles of her feet, and at this critical moment of resisting the thunder calamity, it slowly burned to her calves. Chapter 984 What is good luck? There are 3 disasters for union cultivators to overcome tribulation, namely thunder, fire and wind. Thunder is tribulation thunder, needless to say. Fire refers to yin fire, which will suddenly burn up from the bottom of your feet at the critical moment of your tribulation. Simple yin fire is actually not difficult to deal with, but the danger lies in coming too coincidentally. If you bother to resist in fire, the thunder tribulation in the sky will hit your head, so the cultivators who can successfully overcome tribulation either use strong roots to hold on, or use thunder to quickly control yin fire. Senior sister N belongs to the former, while junior sister's Yu belongs to the latter. From Luo Yan's understanding of Miss Shi, she seems to be neither of them, but he only saw Shillelagh reaching into her arms, taking out a pill and swallowing it. Pill? What pill? Luo Yan was shocked. If the infire could be solved by ordinary pills, it would not become the fire disaster that cultivators who overcome tribulation talk about. However, as she literally took the pill, the infire seemed to be finally fixed, hovering at her ankle and unable to move forward. What kind of elixir is that? Luoyang first breathed a sigh of relief, then asked in doubt, it can actually resist the attack of infire? When he overcame the infant formation tribulation, he relied on the purple gold dragon scale armor borrowed from the Kanglong clan to stimulate the dragon blood, and let the Chinsuming sword suppress the infire, so that he could survive the infire tribulation. He can suppress the infire with just one elixir. Doesn't it mean that this elixir is equivalent to the combination of Suming sword, dragon blood and purple gold dragon scale armor? Infire is actually not difficult to deal with. Suming sword said, there are several elixirs that can suppress it. What elixir can suppress infire? Luoyang asked in confusion. Hey! Kunlun Mirror finally couldn't bear it any longer. Don't think that the infire of other people's tribulation is as difficult as your first-grade immortal infant tribulation. Luoyang's old face suddenly turned red, and he realized that he had made a mistake. The reason why his infire was so difficult at the beginning was that it was at the level of the first-grade immortal infant tribulation, which made most of the methods ineffective. If ordinary cultivators were also this difficult to form infants, then the number of Yunning cultivators today would probably be reduced to only 1 in 10. Shili used the power of the elixir to suppress the infire under her ankles, and then continued to deal with the thunder tribulation without changing her expression. This thunder tribulation was naturally terrifying in the eyes of others, but it was not enough in Luoyang's eyes. It was just that he had no confidence in Miss Shi, so he came here to protect her. Now it seems that although Shili's combat strength is indeed not very good, she has made sufficient preparations in advance, and with the insurance of the formation, it should be no problem for her to survive the heavenly tribulation. Just as he was thinking this, he heard Kunlun Mirror say again, the Crow-Wind is coming. The last of the 3 disasters of the nascent soul, the Crow-Wind, is an invisible, colorless and soundless wind, just like a crow in the dark night, which is hidden and hard to find, and specifically follows the top of a person's head. If a cultivator is unaware and the Crow-Wind touches his skull, penetrates into it, and destroys his sea of consciousness, he will definitely die on the spot. There is no other possibility. Although this Crow-Wind is not completely without traces, and the movement traces can be scanned with the divine sense, it is still the same reason. When you are fully responding to the thunder tribulation, how can you have the leisure to scan the invisible large areas around you all the time? But if you don't scan, if you are quietly rolled over your head by this Crow-Wind, you'll still die. Therefore, the cultivator who is crossing the tribulation can only use the divine sense to scan the surroundings once every period of time, so as not to be unfortunately hit and killed. At this time, Luoyang saw that Shili's forehead was sweating, and the rhythm of manipulating magic was a little disordered. She looked like she was in a hurry and was not paying attention to her head. He knew that she had used all her mind to resist the thunder tribulation, so how could she have the energy to guard against the raging wind? He immediately wanted to remind her. But he was outside the range of the heavenly tribulation, so how could he contact Shili now? Jing. Luoyang hurriedly ordered, do you have any way to warn Luli? No need. Kunlun Mirror refused. Luoyang was slightly startled, and dark words such as not saving someone in danger and killing his wife out of jealousy emerged in his mind. She has been prepared for it. Kunlun Mirror added. Shili suddenly raised her head, and the Taoist formulas in her hands changed continuously. The Gao Chen star sand quickly rose into the air and swept to a deserted place in the distance. Sweep, wrap, and twist, and then the star sand quickly returned to its position, as if there was no change. The hawk wind is gone. Kunlun Mirror reminded, she used the star sand to strangle it. Luoyang breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile. It turns out that Lily had already calculated the time and direction of the hawk wind, so she was able to eliminate it calmly and methodically. It seems that I underestimated her. Did she really calculate it? Kunlun Mirror pondered secretly. Theoretically speaking, the hawk wind is a part of the heavenly tribulation. The time and direction of its appearance are all generated randomly by the origin of the heavenly way. The so-called unpredictable heavenly secrets mean that the heavenly way is not personal will, so it cannot be predicted by psychological game methods. But what if you are particularly lucky? For example, when the hawk wind comes, you suddenly feel something in your heart and release your spiritual sense to scan and detect. It may even be the other way round. When Shili took the time to scan and detect with her spiritual sense, the hawk wind came just in time. Thinking of this, Kunlun Mirror already had an unspeakable fear. If this is really the case, who is Shili? Who can make the heavenly way treat him specially? But Luo Yan didn't worry so much. He just watched Shilili easily solve the fire and wind tribulations, and then began to struggle to deal with the thunder tribulation. To be honest, she was really embarrassed and clumsy in dealing with the thunder tribulation, but she handled the fire and wind tribulation so calmly that Luo Yan was a little confused about whether Shilili was sure. From a historical perspective, since she was able to successfully participate in the Seven Treasures Chuan Yuan secret realm, then, this time, there should be no problem in overcoming the tribulation, right? Although he thought so rationally, he was afraid of accidents emotionally. In the end, Luo Yan was so worried and uneasy, watching Shilili disperse the last wave of tribulation thunder. At this time, her flying sword, magic weapon, elixir, and even the true essence in her danton had been consumed. Not only that, even the formation that Luo Yan arranged for her had almost exhausted all its energy. It can be seen that although Shilili tried her best to deal with it, she still missed a lot of tribulation thunder. Seeing the calamity clouds slowly dissipating, Luo Yan rushed over on his sword and held Shilili in his arms, not even retrieving the tripod that contained the fragments of the heaven repairing stone. "Luli, how are you?" Seeing that his wife looked weak, Luo Yan quickly stuffed pills into her mouth. Shilili opened her mouth to say something, but a pill was stuffed into her mouth. After swallowing it with great difficulty, another pill was stuffed into her mouth, until she finally couldn't bear it anymore. She slapped Luo Yan's hand away and shouted, "My foot!" Luo Yan saw that the infire was still burning there. He quickly dealt with the infire again. Chapter 985. Changing the test questions. At the sect meeting a few days later, the head of Chuandu announced the list of people going to the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm. Since Shilili had already formed a fetus, she was also included in the list. There was nothing wrong with the list itself. Most of the powerful elders were on the list, so everyone went back to prepare quietly and handed over many matters to the disciples. On the day of departure, the head of Chuandu raised his hand and threw a building ship magic weapon over Penglai, allowing the elders to board the ship. Although this ship-shaped magic weapon is not as fast as the sword-controlling technique, it consumes less true essence and is very comfortable to ride. Everyone can also chat and drink tea on the deck. Luo Yan and Shilili stayed alone in the cabin and were lazy until the building ship arrived at the extreme northern pillar at the sky, and then everyone got off the ship. What happened next was similar to what happened in history. Everyone was originally discussing the quota, but Wei Donliu brought a large number of monks from neutral sects and forced to break into share. These neutral sects are not a threat to Kunlun and Shushan, but Penglai is not easy to offend. Many of them are clients of the elders. So the Chuandu sect master hurriedly came to Luo Yan and Shilili and said, "Now this dilemma, what should we do?" Luo Yan was a little speechless, thinking what to do about Penglai. "Why ask me? Neutral sects are naturally not easy to offend," Shilili said tactfully. "But if you retreat, Kunlun may be unhappy." The Chuandu sect master also stated his concerns very straightforwardly. "Kunlun is not easy to offend either," Shilili reminded. This sentence pointed out the essence of it, so the Chuandu sect master thought about it and said goodbye and left. "My wife is really insightful about human nature." Luo Yan couldn't help but sigh, "But if this happens, maybe you will come to me again if you encounter any problems in the future." "No problem," Shilili said, "since you already know that I can calculate, it would be strange if you don't come to ask." Luo Yan nodded in agreement. "Even if it was me, when I first took office as the head of Tiangong Fang, wouldn't I want to inherit the master's legacy, work hard and make a strong effort?" Then I knew that my wife had the ability of arithmetic, and I couldn't help asking everything. After all, it was an ability that could directly give reference answers. Once used once, it would become dependent. I couldn't help it. "My wife?" Luo Yan asked casually, "Do you really want to be the headmaster of Penglai?" "I don't have that idea," Shilili replied. "But if your ability of arithmetic is known to everyone in the sect," Luo Yan pondered and said slowly, "then you were afraid that you can't escape the position of the headmaster." "Does my husband want me to be the headmaster?" Shilili suddenly asked him. "I don't have that idea either." Luo Yan laughed and said, "Of course it depends on my wife's wishes." The two of them tried to chat with each other for a long time, and finally heard that the secret realm outside was opened, so they flew to the northernmost pillar with Penglai and others. Because of the breakdown of the negotiations, the monks of the demon sect and the neutral sects have begun to attack. Kunlun and Shushan were organizing a defense line, and at the same time, they arranged for some people to enter the secret realm first. Penglai didn't have so many concerns. The other side was full of potential customers and it was not easy to offend them, so they rushed to the entrance of the secret realm. Luoyan and Shiluli entered the secret realm, and saw that there was a vast sea of clouds under their feet, and there were holes in the sky above their heads. The water from the Tinhe River outside poured in, forming huge waterfalls. It was the familiar figure of the old man again, who appeared in front of the two and said, "This is the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm, and the test is, her." He suddenly stared at Shiluli, looked at him for a long time, and slowly asked, "Are you practicing the 5 latitudes Jintine secret record?" "Yes," Shiluli replied. "Well." The old man stroked his beard and said, "If you are practicing this secret technique, then this test is too easy for you. Your 5-layer secret records contains a part about activating the power of stars, and this world is a simulation of the great catastrophe of world destruction, with falling stars everywhere. The power of stars that can be activated is more than 1,000 times more. No, I have to change the test for you." Luoyan almost vomited blood when he heard this. He originally wanted to use the advantage of the foresight of the previous 2 times to make this time simple and smooth, but he didn't expect that the chief examiner would not play by the rules again and change the test paper again. How can it be so? He could not help but protest, since it is a test of fortune and luck. My wife just happens to know the 5-layer Jintine secret record, which means her fortune and luck are deep enough. Why should the test content be changed because of this? Her. The old man asked curiously, "I haven't told you that this secret realm tests fortune and luck, how did you know?" Luoyan was amazingly focused and responsive, and he quickly sneered. "The Baiyusheng secret realm tests martial arts strength, the Wangjinke secret realm tests wisdom and decision-making, and the test content of the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm is naturally the same. There are only a few possibilities, I just guessed one at random, and it turned out to be right." The old man heard that the other party was deceiving him, and he immediately felt a little embarrassed, and said with a wave of his sleeves, "I'm the manager of this Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm, I say change, it must be changed." After that, he waved his sleeves without saying anything. The two felt dizzy, and when they came to their senses and looked carefully, they found that they had already arrived outside the sky and in the universe. "Under your feet is the celestial barrier." The old man appeared in front of them again and said sternly, "The celestial sphere barrier is rotating all the time, and because its lifespan is about to end, there are already a lot of holes on it. If you accidentally step into it and fall into the celestial barrier, you will be eliminated. This is the first reason. Outside the barrier is the endless water of the chaotic sky river. There is no heat in it and it is icy cold. You need to practice your skills all the time to fight against it. This is the second reason. In addition, there are countless demons from outer space. If they see 2 cultivators like you here, they will come to devour your souls, suck your bones and knock out your marrow. This is the third reason. These 3 factors combined make it much more difficult to survive than below, but this place can also attract more power from the stars, and your 5 latitude secret records of heaven can exert a more powerful effect. In this way, even if you survive in the end, it is because you have good fortune and luck, not because the secret technique you practice is powerful." Ha 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 ha. Shiluli wanted to ask again, "Then why did you let my husband accompany me here?" But the old man had already disappeared with a big laugh. Luoyan. He and Shiluli looked at each other and were about to speak. As soon as they opened their mouths, water from the Milky Way poured into their mouths, mixed with a biting chill, which was many times colder than the seawater below. Chapter 986. Traveling the universe with Luli, 2-in-1. Outside the celestial sphere, there is also a universal gravitation pointing to the celestial sphere, but it is lower than the gravity on the surface of the Earth. With just a light jump, you can jump to a very high position and can't fall down for a long time. Therefore, if Luoyan and Shiluli want to move here, they must fly the sword all the way, otherwise if they jump into the air, there is no place to borrow force, and they will be attacked by the demons. It will be troublesome. The two stepped on the sword light and flew along the surface of the celestial sphere. After circling for a long time, they found that it was meaningless. No matter where on the surface of the celestial sphere, there is no ups and downs at all, and it is exactly the same, that is, there is no shelter to hide from the demons. At the same time, the biting coldness of the surrounding chaotic Tinhe is gradually eroding the bodies of the two. It's troublesome. Shiluli said uneasily, if there is only the water of the Tinhe River, or if only the demons invade, it is not completely impossible to deal with it. But the combination of these two brings too much danger. She threw up a handful of copper coins, and saw that the copper coins quickly froze after leaving her hand, and then slowly fell into her palm. What about this? Luoyan put his hands together and activated the innate 5 elements divine light. As the 5 elements changed, the coldness around the 2 people quickly turned into a faint warmth like that by the fire. Will this consume a lot of true energy? Shirley asked worriedly. No, I'm a first-grade immortal infant. There's plenty of true energy. Of course, he couldn't say this to Shirley, so Luoyang just smiled calmly and didn't answer. There are no demons attacking yet, so my husband should save his true energy. Shirley said again with concern. It's coming. Luoyang suddenly pointed to a certain place. Shirley looked up and found that there were shadows flashing between the stars in the distance. This should be the area of the first heaven. Shirley said calmly, it's not difficult to fight against the demons. But as time goes by, the news that we are here will leak out sooner or later, and the demons that come to attack will definitely become more and more powerful. So, what does my wife mean? Luoyang asked. The old man just said that we can't hide inside the celestial sphere, but he didn't say that we can't leave the celestial sphere too far, right? Shirley suddenly asked. Do you want to go deep into the universe? Luoyang asked in astonishment. At first glance, this strategy is too radical. After all, the outer wall of the celestial sphere can still stand, but if you go deep into the tin head and into the universe, it is equivalent to going deep into the lair of the demons. Once surrounded by a large number of people, it will be really dangerous. But if you think about it carefully, it seems to make sense. If you stay near the outer wall of the celestial sphere, it's like staying around a large light bulb in the middle of the night. The demons will swarm more and more. But if you go to the depths of the universe, although you may be suspected of stirring up a hornet's nest, you don't have to be trapped near the celestial sphere. Yeah. Shirley nodded and said, didn't the old man say that the closer we get to the stars, the more powerful my key refining technique will be? Now the weakness between you and me is mine, and the demons are always cunning, they will definitely attack me fiercely. If I can improve the power of my Taoism, I will be more confident in protecting myself. Speaking of self-protection, Luoyang remembered it. The last 12 masters of the 7 treasures Chuan Yuan, Shirley's name is not on the list. In other words, my wife didn't make it to the end, forget it, as long as she likes it. Okay then. Luoyang also laughed, anyway, this is just a secret realm, not a formal universe, why don't we take the opportunity to explore how big this secret realm is? So the 2 of them flew directly on their swords towards the distant stars. Along the way, they saw that there were 3 types of planets in the universe. One was a burning star, the second was an empty rock, and the third was a celestial sphere with a rune barrier. The former 2 accounted for the majority, and except for the starting point of the 2, which was the cultivation world, no other celestial sphere had been seen. Most of the area was filled with extremely cold water from the Tinhe River, and its biting water-type coldness continued to penetrate the 2 people, and was then transformed by Luoyang's innate 5-element divine light into warm wood-type spiritual energy. In this way, Shirley did not have to constantly activate her true essence to resist the coldness of the surrounding environment. Luoyang's divine sense swept around, and he found that there were more and more patrolling shadows, all of which were hideous and terrifying demons, casting greedy and cruel eyes towards the 2. Strangely enough, it is said that the more hideous and terrifying the appearance of these outer demons, the lower their cultivation level is. And those who look like handsome men and beautiful women are not easy to deal with, and they are very strange and powerful. Seeing that these demons looked strange, Luoyang knew that they were definitely not the level of Jingniangzi, so he was too lazy to take action to eliminate these small fish, and just continued to rush with Shirley. Soon, the 2 approached one of the stars. From a distance, the star was just a point of light, but up close, it was a huge yellow fireball with a constant eruption on the surface. When they got a little closer, they could feel the huge heat come in from it, which almost made it difficult for them to breathe. Luoyang and Shirley stopped flying their swords, and saw that the demons around them were as numerous as the grains of sand in the Ganges River, and they could no longer hold back and were eager to approach. Husband, please recover your true energy first. Luoyang was about to make a move, but Shirley stretched out her hand to stop him. Use my magic to stop you for a while. She put her hands together in front of her chest and suddenly made a strange Taoist gesture. This Taoist gesture is part of the Taoist spell-casting ritual. There are no more than 100 of them scattered here and there, but Luoyang had never seen the Taoist gesture that Shirley made at this time. Suddenly, the star behind the 2 seemed to tremble, and the torrent of flames on the surface suddenly erupted more than 100 times higher than the original height. Shirley quickly extended her hands, and a huge beam of light gushed out from her palms, sweeping across the sea of demons in front of her. Then, the sea that was originally composed of demons quickly became empty. Luoyan. Wait, what happened? He pondered silently, thinking that if he used the thunder method against demons, he could only sweep away a few hundred or thousands at most. Because the demons in the distance looked densely packed, but in fact, if you carefully scan them with the Cunning mirror for a while, you can find that there is still a considerable distance between the individual demons. Only using a large-scale spell can cover a very limited number of demons. And Shillelagh's light column spell, although the caliber is not large, the distance is extremely long and far. She just dragged her hands, and the light column swept across a 30-degree angle, covering a very wide range. Naturally, all the demons in it were affected and burned to death. What kind of spell is that? Luoyan couldn't help but ask in horror. Star Lantern Array. Shillelagh replied. Luoyan. The so-called Star Lamp Small Array is the most basic derivative technique in the secret records of the 5 latitudes, just like the universal pure sound small light technique in the true word for entering the 9 heavens. Its function is to emit a ray of light to provide basic lighting and exorcism. Thinking of the huge beam of light just now, Luoyan could not help but remain silent, but he exclaimed in his heart, "No way! The bonus of this star power can be so terrifying. Then if I defect to Penglai in the future and she catches up with me and casts a spell on me, won't I explode on the spot? Wake up!" Sumin Jin couldn't bear it and reminded, "With my bonus, didn't you even split the golden summit of Imre mounting?" To put it bluntly, it's not that Shillelagh is too strong, but that the energy at the star itself is too huge. She only borrowed 1/10,000th of it to exert supreme power. Luoyan was silent for a long time, and asked Kunlun Jing, "Is it too late for me to switch to practicing the 5 latitude Jintine secret record now?" Change? Kunlun Jing was also puzzled. "Why do you want to switch?" "Of course it's because it's more powerful." Luoyan said seriously, "If I want to ascend to the immortal world in the future, I will learn a secret technique that uses the power of the stars. If I encounter a demon attack on the way, I can run to the nearest star and kill these demons with the secret technique. Isn't it wonderful?" "You think it's beautiful?" Kunlun laughed at him. "This star secret technique is indeed very powerful near the stars, but the number of demons is close to endless. Even if the power of your spell is increased by 100 times and the range is increased by 1,000 times, it is impossible to kill them all." As if to verify its words, the space swept out by Shillelagh's light column was filled with more demons in an instant. All the demons from outer space seemed to be enraged, and they rushed towards the two of them in a black mass. Shillelagh's face did not change, but she continued to release the light column, constantly sweeping around her body, front and back, up and down, left and right, and blasting the approaching demon groups, but her combat experience was ultimately insufficient, and there were always fish that slipped through the net every time she swept. Luoyan was on the side, finishing off the enemies. He would use the 5 elements divine light to attack any enemies that came through the gaps in the light column. These demons were all of low cultivation. No matter whether it was the starlight light column or the 5 elements divine light, they would be completely annihilated without leaving any residue. However, the light column had a wider sweeping range, a higher killing efficiency, and consumed less true energy. Luoyan felt that his 5 elements divine light was like a cannon hitting a mosquito, so he simply stopped using Taoism and just took some magic weapons with large-scale attacks from his treasure bag and used them everywhere. After a few days like this, the number of demons did not decrease, and Shillelagh's true energy was already somewhat exhausted. "It was a bad idea," she said with an annoyed look. "Now it seems that we are trapped here." "It doesn't matter." Luoyan comforted her. "If we still stay near the celestial sphere, without the bonus of star power, with your original strength, I'm afraid you will be eliminated within an incense stick." "I'm not that weak," Shillelagh protested for a moment with a lack of confidence, and then said, "If I don't leave now, I will be trapped here and die. But if I try to move, as long as I leave the distance covered by the stars, my combat power will drop sharply, and I'm afraid it will be even more troublesome." "It doesn't matter." Luoyan smiled and comforted her. "I'll think of a way, you just follow me and run." Shillelagh was silent for a moment. Her right hand continued to perform Taoism, but her left hand threw out a copper coin like lightning and cast a hexagram. Then, she nodded and agreed. "Then let's move to that star." Shillelagh took the leaden flying the sword, and Luoyan quickly followed. The two fought and fled, rushing towards another star in the distance. Seeing that the two were about to run, the surrounding demons swarmed over them desperately, like a swarm of flies smelling a foul smell. As they gradually moved away from the star, the caliber of the light column in Shillelagh's hand was rapidly weakening. Originally, sweeping the demons would annihilate them, but now it can only destroy the opponent's body, and the power is getting lower and lower. However, the lethality and range of Luo Yan's innate 5-element divine light have increased dramatically, filling that firepower range that the light column could not cover. This chaotic galaxy, the environment belongs to the water element, is an extremely cold place, and is also the environment that the demons are most adapted to. Luo Yan used the 5-element mutual generation technique to transform all the water elements into fire elements, from extremely cold to extremely hot, and immediately boiled all the water in the surrounding large areas of the Sky River, as if it was an insurmountable isolation belt, blocking a large number of demons outside. After much hardship, the two finally arrived near the second star. This star was bigger than the previous one, and its color was a dazzling, blazing white, with far more heat and energy than the previous one. She cast a spell again, and this time the diameter of the beam of light really increased by more than 1,000 times, and a light sweep could destroy a large number of demons. For a while, the speed at which the demons were replenished could not keep up with the speed at which they were destroyed, so that the demons behind were a little hesitant. Everyone was not afraid of death, but they did not like to die in vain. At this rate, no matter how many rushed over, they would be slaughtered, so I rush over. Soon, most of the demons fled cleanly, leaving only a few who were unwilling to give up, sneaking around in the distance. Seeing that the first attack of these demons was repelled, Luo Yan was relieved. Just as he was about to say something with a smile, he heard Shiluli suddenly say, "We have to leave quickly. The farther away from the celestial sphere, the more vicious the demons become. These demons are definitely not retreating, but going out to get reinforcements, looking for more powerful demons." "That's right." After hearing what Shiluli said, Luo Yan quickly reacted, "Then we really have to leave as soon as possible." He looked at the vague black shadows in the distance and said, "If we don't get rid of these tails, no matter where we run, the other party will follow us like a shadow. The universe is extremely large." Shiluli sighed and said, "The demons are fast. If you get close to them, they will flee to a farther place. When you leave, they will fly back. How can we kill them all? If there is some illusion to conceal the body's shape and breadth, it's not impossible, but I'm really not good at illusions." At this point, Shiluli silently recalled the items in the Tiangong treasure bag, and it seemed that there was no magic weapon that was powerful enough for illusion. Luo Yan's mind turned, and suddenly called out, "A jinn?" If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Mundo Fanfic Novelers, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelers. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 987. Luo is out, Luo Yan is depressed. Together, the universe near the world of cultivation can be roughly divided into 6 areas, namely the 6 heavens, according to the distance. The demons in the first heaven are the weakest, but there are many types and numbers, such as Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Fudanas, Pishajas, etc. They can transform into handsome men and beautiful women, but their true bodies are almost all strange. With the help of a jinn's illusion, Luo Yan and Shiluli escaped all the way to the vicinity of the third star without any danger. The star here is not a burning fireball, but a huge floating meteorite, almost the same size as the celestial sphere where the world of cultivation is located. If you can make a hole here and get in, maybe you can survive until the end of the secret trial," Shiluli said, throwing out a copper coin and quickly casting a hexagram. The hexagram still showed a very bad omen. Shiluli looked at it silently for a moment, and said calmly, "I don't know how these demons detected our existence, but with the previous illusion, there should be no problem, right?" Luo Yan. Kunlun Mirror's illusion is a sensitive topic. He didn't want to talk about it, but just said, "With my 5 elements divine light, even if we are found by the demons hiding in the meteorite, it is easy to escape." "That's true." Shiluli nodded in agreement. If an ordinary cultivator hides in the depths of the meteorite, once the demons find out, they will immediately fall into the danger of being caught in a jar. But Luo Yan's 5 elements divine light can break through the ground and penetrate the mountains easily, so he can use the complex structure of the meteorite to delay that demon's pursuit. So the two of them drilled into the meteorite, and Luo Yan led the way in front. The 5-colored divine light quickly flowed in his hands, opening a narrow passage in front so that the two could enter by bending over, and then the gap was glued back with soil in the back, turning it back into a cold rock. "My husband's secret method is really useful," Shiluli praised. "To some extent, it has already approached the level of Tao. That's still a long way off." Luo Yan said modestly, it still can't deal with things outside the 5 elements, huh? The 5-element divine light in front pierced through the rock wall, revealing the cave behind. She exclaimed, and found that this was not a natural cave, but a man-made building. There were obvious traces of flying swords grinding and cutting around the walls. She threw out a copper plate, and after divination, she chose a direction and walked towards the depths of the meteorite. Luo Yan followed behind her, blocked the passage in the future, and scanned the front vigilantly. This is just a simulation of the secret realm, so there won't be too many details, but, combined with the Kumlan Fenbahu Rock and Tianmen Peak secret realm, can we think that these secret realms should be extracted from the old man's memory? Tianmen Peak secret realm is the cave where the old man once lived, so the same scene is also constructed in the secret realm. In contrast, other places in the cultivation world are almost all bare terrain, submerged by seawater and stars. Perhaps it is because the old man has no special impression of most places in Shenzhou. Thinking of this, Luo Yan suddenly realized that since there is a passage built in this meteorite, could it be because the old man has been here before? What is he going to do inside the meteorite? The two walked through the long corridor and saw a large cave in front of them. Among them, there are tables, chairs, beds, cabinets, and all kinds of furniture needed for immortals to practice meditation, but it is empty, with nothing placed on it. It seems that someone has lived here. Shili said lightly. And there are quite a few people. Luo Yan counted the number of beds, 8 people. So many people, what are they doing outside the sky? Shili frowned. It should be to ascend. Luo Yan pondered. Ascend? So Luo Yan told Shili in detail about the ascension. I see. Shili also sighed. I thought that after ascending, I would directly reach the fairy land. It's not that easy. Luo Yan shook his head and said, the power of ascension only pulls you away from the barrier of the celestial sphere. To go to the fairyland, you have to cross the distant and numerous celestial rivers. Along the way, not only do you have to overcome the biting cold of the celestial river, but you also have to resist the endless attacks of the demons. It is a great consumption of your spirit and true energy. You can think of digging a hole in this rock and resting for a while, which is really ingenious. Shili was silent for a moment, and suddenly shouted. Not good. What's wrong? Luo Yan asked in surprise. Is it a secret that the rocky meteorites can be used as resting places by the ascending human immortals? Shili asked quickly. No way. Luo Yan thought, on the way to ascend, the true essence is insufficient, and they are harassed by the demons. It would be abnormal if they saw a huge rock nearby and didn't think of hiding in it. That's right. Shili said in a deep voice, human cultivators can think of this, but can't the demons think of it? Luo Yan immediately realized the problem after she said this. If the human cultivators in the past had never drilled into the meteorites to avoid fighting, then the demons would certainly not digging here for no reason. But now there are stone-carved tables, chairs, beds and cabinets here, proving that human cultivators have hidden here. How could the demons who have been chasing human cultivators not know? This place is not safe. Luo Yan quickly extended the distance and scanned the surroundings with a wider range. Sure enough, he found a demon head, rushing towards this side from a distance. The demon was shrouded in black fog, and a slender figure was looming in the fog. It was obvious that he was not an ordinary person. What was more troublesome was that the black fog did not go through the passage inside the meteorite at all, but went straight through the wall, and the speed was much faster than expected. Seeing Luo Yan's silence, Shili felt something in his heart, and once again made a divination, frowning and said, a strong enemy is coming. Get out of the way first. Luo Yan took Shili's hand and began to use the 5 elements of divine light to make holes. The demon seemed to be unaware of their existence, but just kept going through the wall quickly and entered a cave to search, obviously looking for the traces of the two. Luo Yan estimated the speed slightly, and knew that if he repaired the rear passage again, he might not be able to get rid of the opponent in time, so he simply went all out to make a hole in the front and rushed out with Shili. When there was still a few hundred feet outside the meteorite, the demon behind finally arrived at the passage dug by Luo Yan, and immediately rushed over here fiercely, and the speed was more than several times faster than before. Luo Yan could only speed up the drilling speed, but unexpectedly, Shili next to him grabbed the copper plate and suddenly said, Husband, I will hold it back later, you go first. Let's go together. Luo Yan refused without explanation. No. Shili explained, these demons beat the small ones and then the big ones. It will never end. Sooner or later, we will be exhausted to death here. If my wife is gone, Luo Yan was about to refute her theory, only to hear Shi say again. Without me here to hold you back, husband can use that illusion to directly avoid the entanglement of these demons, right? Luo Yan. It's over, she saw that I was saving my strength. In fact, I knew it a long time ago. Shi continued, husband has always been a person who likes to hide his shortcomings. The strength you show now is not consistent with your actual strength, right? Luo, listen to my explanation, Luo Yan said anxiously. It was the illusion that concealed my figure just now, but I don't know what illusion can deceive the demon. Shi smiled and said, you know, the demons are a race that is naturally good at illusions. Luo Yan was still trying to argue. This world of cultivation is so big, it's normal for my wife not to know what secret technique can restrain the demon, right? Yeah. Shi blinked, so what illusion is it? Luo Yan was about to make up a name and origin of the secret technique, but heard Shi say again. I don't really have to be so meticulous about my husband, but this secret realm trial is different from what I originally thought. The universe is full of dangers and there are too many places where you need to fight. I'm really not good at fighting, and I will only be a burden to you here. How can it be a burden? At least you can. Luo Yan tried his last effort, and heard Shi say again. I'm running out of true energy. Luo Yan was speechless. The true energy is exhausted, this is really no way. For cultivators, there are only two ways to replenish their true essence. One is to sit in meditation and breathe, and the other is to take medicine and then refine the medicinal power. The former takes a long time. Although the latter is more efficient, it is not that the true essence will be filled immediately after taking the pill. However, in this universe, there are extremely aggressive demons everywhere, and there is no suitable time to restore the true essence. Otherwise, how could the old man say that it is almost impossible to reach the fairyland without becoming a chaotic Jinxian? Isn't it because unless you have infinite true essence, you will be exhausted to death in the universe sooner or later? That's it. Shi smiled and kissed his cheek, and then showed a slightly shy expression. Anyway, it's not really dead, just eliminated. After saying that, she struggled to break free from Luo Yan's hand and flew straight to the demon on the sword. Luo Yan was not willing to take the opportunity to leave. Just as he was about to turn the sword like to save him, the demon had already rushed to him and pounced on Shi who was caught off guard. The latter immediately turned into white light and left. Then, a slender and charming woman appeared in the black fog, touching her belly and smiling. What a delicious body, so there are only two of you. There are no more human races. Luo Yan stared at her straight, and suddenly asked, how do you want to die? The demon said in surprise, if possible, any death is fine. But don't you know that we demons are immortal? Luo Yan did not answer, but quickly activated the 5 elements of divine light, surrounding the demon from front to back, left to right, up and down, and making it airtight. Although this demon was more powerful than the previous demon, he was not as powerful as the great free demon that Qiu Chang's had encountered before. Therefore, he was killed by Luo Yan with the 5 elements of divine light after fighting with him for less than a quarter of an hour. However, as the other party said, the demon is an immortal body, and it will be reborn somewhere sooner or later. In addition, all this was simulated by the secret realm, resulting in Luo Yan not feeling the pleasure of revenge after killing it, but only feeling depressed. Forget it. He sighed and said, Jin, use your illusion to cover up for me. I'm too lazy to waste time with these demons. Isn't this bad? Jin asked, if the old man finds out that you have an illusion that can evade the pursuit of the demons, he might have to report your coordinates to you regularly like Immortal did, that would increase the difficulty of your passing. Who cares? Luo Yan said in self-abandonment. Anyway, according to the history of Qiu Chang's time and Immortal, I successfully survived to the last 12 people and successfully won the master of the 7 treasures Chuan Yuan. History that has happened will not change, so no matter what I do, I will be able to pass the test successfully in the end, right? Seeing that he showed an attitude of giving up, Jin also had a headache. Just as he was about to continue to persuade him, he suddenly saw the old man flash in front of him. Okay, there are only 12 people left in the secret realm, you have passed. As he said that, the old man suddenly looked around him and said in surprise, where is your companion who practiced the 5-layer Jintian secret record? Was she eliminated? Luo Yan replied with a wooden face. Well, thanks to the senior, I was besieged by the demons and finally couldn't hold on. How strange. The old man frowned and said in confusion, logically speaking, her star secret technique is very compatible with the environment of the universe. Logically, she shouldn't lose, right? Luo Yan had no intention of refutation at all. He thought that the star secret technique was indeed powerful, but it couldn't stand up to Mishi, who was a weakling in battle. Her true essence had been squandered. What else could she do if she didn't get out? Of course, if she knew that there were only 13 people left in the secret realm at the time, it would not be impossible to try to hold on for a while, but who could know? What happened next, of course, does not need to be elaborated. Luoyan and the other winners gathered together, and after listening to the Buddhist chanting that contained clues to the secret realm of the Great Light Hall, they were sent out of the Seven Treasures Chuan Yuan secret realm. As soon as he left the secret realm, Luoyan immediately flew to the Penglai main formation on his sword. Shiluli left the main formation to greet them. Before they met, she said in secret, "My husband, hurry up, the sect is leaving." Luoyan quickly scanned the surroundings and saw that although the battle had not yet begun, the demon cult had set up a trap in the secret realm because of Limunpo, and their hostility and murderous intent towards Shushan could no longer be concealed. Penglai was not good at fighting, and the big brother Kunlun had no intention of joining forces with the three pure ones of the righteous path to block the guns for the Shushan sword immortals, so they were ready to run away quickly. So the two of them quickly returned to the main formation, and then the elders of Penglai showed their magical powers, activated many magic weapons and flying swords, and quickly evacuated to the southeast. The demon cult also sent people to stop them, and the head of Khuandu made a prompt decision to send some elders who were good at actual combat to intercept them and escort most of the elders to evacuate the battlefield. Logically speaking, Luoyan had the 5 elements divine light and the Wangtime Kun sword in his hands. As one of the strongest elders in Penglai, he was more suitable to stay behind to cover the retreat. However, he had already obtained the position of the master of the 7 treasures Chuan Yuan, and had clues about the secret realm of the Great Light Palace in his mind. The head of Khuandu did not dare to let him make any mistakes, so he would rather cover the retreat himself and escort him back to Penglai Island safely. In this way, everyone returned to Penglai Fairy Island without any danger. Luoyan and Shiluli had not rested in Tiangongfang yet, and someone came to the door and said that Wangxiang Immortal wanted to invite Elder Jinun. Hearing that it was the invitation of the Immortal, Luoyan prepared to leave. Before leaving Tiangongfang, just after leaving the wind room, he saw Wangxiang Immortal was already impatient and walked quickly into the yard from outside. Chapter 988 Testing the Witch. You did a good job. Jinun, you did a good job. Wangxiang Immortal was very satisfied, but Luoyan was tired of listening. Qiu Changtai and Lin Yunpo have heard it twice. No matter how sincere you, Wangxiang Immortal, say it, I don't feel the slightest bit of emotion. Reward. What is the reward? Do you know? Wangxiang Immortal was completely unaware, and just praised Luoyan a lot, and asked about Luoyan's things in the secret realm. This was not something that needed to be kept secret, so Luoyan told the situation in detail. Outside the celestial sphere, the Wangxiang Immortal stroked his beard. It is indeed full of dangers. Elder Dongyu does not have much practical experience, and it is a pity that he was defeated at the last moment. When our human race ascended in the past, the distance from the cultivation world to the fairyland was more than 8,000 miles. If we are not prepared, it is impossible to reach the destination smoothly. Therefore, a Chaos Deluo Jingxian left the sky and explored the nearby area. Where there are many demons and where suitable for hiding are not secrets among the immortals, of course, it is normal that you don't know. At this point, the Wangxiang Immortal suddenly had an idea and smiled. I know what reward I should give you this time. He took out a gourd with emerald green patterns from his sleeve and asked, do you know what this is? Luoyan was stunned for a long time, and asked the Kunlun Miram Sumin sword, but they didn't recognize the origin of the gourd. This is, I don't know either. Wangxiang Immortal said frankly, but this was brought back from the depths of the universe outside the celestial sphere by a great man of the sect in the past. At regular intervals, a drop of Yamu spiritual liquid will be produced in this gourd, without any other conditions, even if it is soaked in the water of the Chaos Heavenly River, it is the same. Luoyan's eyes lit up immediately after hearing this. That's a good thing. As we all know, Yamu spiritual liquid is the best thing for healing and restoring true essence, but because it is too scarce, people often use cheaper inferior elixirs as a substitute. The problem is that after taking the medicine, you need to refine the medicinal power, and in many stressful situations, the enemy will not give you time to calmly refine the medicinal power. In this regard, Yamu spiritual liquid hardly needs to be refined too much, and it can replenish true essence when it falls into the stomach. In addition, this god can automatically replenish your spiritual liquid, which makes this magic weapon transcend the ordinary grade and become the optimal solution in many situations, for example, when ascending to the fairy land. Immortal. Luoyang did not rush to take the good, but just asked in confusion, since this treasure is so precious, why don't you keep it for yourself? Aren't you also planning to ascend to the immortal world in the future? If you rely too much on this treasure, you will lose your spirit. One Xiang immortal said as if with emotion, you can take it, I don't need it. Luoyang took the jade god and asked Ah Jin to scan it carefully again. Strange. Kunlun Mirror said doubtfully, there is nothing unusual about this thing. It looks like an ordinary good, but the material is definitely not wood, and I didn't recognize it. Nonsense. Luoyang said, have you been to the depths of the universe? There are all kinds of wonders in this universe. It is normal that there are a few that you can't recognize. He carefully put the god away and said goodbye to Xiang Immortal and left. In this way, the immortals at Kunlun, Shushan, and Penglai have all obtained clues to the secret realm of the Great Light Palace. Next, I just need to wait for the Great Light Palace secret realm to open, and the three immortals to leave the sect. It will be my chance to seize the fragments of the heaven-fixing stone. The heaven-fixing stone was divided into 6 pieces back then, and now I have obtained 2 pieces. In addition to the 3 pieces of the Orthodox sect, there is also the piece buried in the depths of hell, which was used by Taoist Luo to create a barrier. Luoyang pondered for a moment and felt that it would be the most difficult to get the heaven-fixing stone in the Hell Road. The reason is simple. He has already figured out the 3 pure ones of the Orthodox sect, but for the Hell Road, he can only be regarded as a little understanding at this time, but not much. As we all know, the unknown is the most terrifying. If I can't figure out Taoist Luo's true identity and cultivation strength, what methods other members of the Hell Road have, and what cards are hidden in the depths of hell, then rushing into the depths of hell to grab the fragments of the heaven-fixing stone is like a rabbit entering a knot with bait. I have to think of a way. Jin, read the save file Wei Dongliu. Point 4. Zongtai Peak, Tongshuan Med Station. Character identity. Wei Dongliu. Mirror Flower Water Moon template overwritten, time and space shuttle in progress. Arriving at Mount Watai, Wei Dongliu quickly began to recall what happened before saving this plot line. Well, Luo Duchang, the head of the Hell Road, asked me to go to the secret realm of Jing'an Temple to get information. After I knew that the last piece of the heaven-burned stone fragment was hidden in the Jing'an Temple, I pretended to return without any gain and reported to Luo Duchang. Afterwards, I teleported into it again and took away the heaven-burned stone fragment. Since the secret realm of Jing'an Temple was destroyed, Luo Duchang would inevitably suspect me and know. 2, but to be fair, no. 2 is definitely more suspicious than me. After all, when the Jing'an Temple cave was destroyed without knowing that I would teleport, only no. 2 was inside. Thinking of this, Wei Dongliu decided to keep a low profile for a while, be an honest spy, and wait for the Hell Road to send him a message. It took another half a day for Wei Dongliu to inspect and sort out the situation of all the people in the Fanxingdo. It has to be said that the incentive effect of cultivation resources is really strong. With the existence of the Dharma Transmission Hall and the Dharma Transmission System, all the cultivators of the mortal life worked hard to build a sect, and when the external cultivators heard about this, they came to join the sect in an endless stream. If it were other sects, as long as the gate system was more rigorous, there would be absolutely no such thing as individual cultivators coming to join. But before, the mortal life had been a mess for a long time, so that it came up with the traditional practice of recruiting external cultivators with Taoist traditions and disciples, and giving them the name of mortal life as long as they paid money. Now, it has hit the mark unexpectedly, attracting a large number of independent cultivators to join the sect, and the number of people in the sect has also increased by leaps and bounds. Roughly estimated, the number of cultivators in the Golden Core realm alone has tripled from the original basis. Of course, as the number of external cultivators increased dramatically, among the reigning elders of the sect, a certain voice of strong trunk and weak branches gradually began to appear. Everyone is worried that if they continue to use such indiscriminate tactics, the right to speak of the original mortal monks will gradually be taken away by these foreign monks. Wei Dongliu sneered at this. What is the original mortal monk? The Tongshuan sect, which has existed for thousands of years, was completely destroyed, leaving no one alive. Where is the orthodox mortal monk left? Even the 3 major sects of Yunxiu Mountain, Lingxiu Mountain and Zhuyu Mountain, which were later here, are said to have been just a few outer disciples eliminated by the Tongshuan sect. They returned to the mountain to re-establish their sects after the sect was destroyed. It is hard to say how much magic inheritance they can get from the Tongshuan sect. As for other monks who claim to be old mortal monks, they were originally foreign monks who joined the mortal sect in the last few thousand years and have nothing to do with the orthodox mortal sect. If we really want to talk about the original mortal sect, the stone statue of the law in my hand, Wei Dongliu, and the 180,000 volumes of magic secrets, are the real mortal sect inheritance. Whoever I pass these secrets to will be a true monk of the mortal Dao. Hearing several mortal Dao elders complaining about this, Wei Dongliu just sneered and looked at them without saying a word. Soon, the elders stopped talking and kept silent. After Grandmaster Wei left, the elders began to whisper and discuss. It seems that the master is not going to speak for us old men. That's right, the master is still dreaming of becoming the six leaders. How could he agree to something like this that would gain real benefits but damage his reputation? But there are indeed a few tricky ideas among these foreign cultivators. A few days ago, my direct disciple went to fight someone, but he lost. Lost? That's really embarrassing. Are you willing to swallow this loss and not vent your anger for your disciple? If I take action, wouldn't that be bullying the weak? The elder who was questioned sneered. I just stood in front of him, and the kid knelt in front of me, crying and shouting to apologize, begging to take me as his master. The elders, although everyone showed a look of contempt at the same time, their inner thoughts became active. That's right. Since Sect Master Wei has the strong support of the Bloodsea ancestor and is unwilling to change the current strategy of recruiting monks, the trend of more and more foreign monks is inevitable. But this also means that there will be more fresh blood flowing into the sect, and there must be many good seedlings among them. As long as the qualifications are acceptable, no matter whether the other party is self-taught or a rough jade, there is no need to rush to label him as an outsider. If he worships me, regards me as a teacher, and learns from me, then he is one of my own. Thinking of this, the elders all denounced the elder, saying that he must have used some dirty intimidation to force the outsider who defeated his own disciples to become his master. Soon, everyone reached a consensus on the surface. Defending the orthodoxy of the mortal way is our duty. Whoever compromises with these outsiders is a traitor. Then they returned to their caves, and while others had not yet changed their minds, they quickly asked their disciples to go out and pay attention to explore whether there were any foreign monks who had not yet formed a pill and had good talents. Wei Dongliu didn't know that he had just not expressed his opinion, but he had actually set off a wave of disciples, which greatly accelerated the naturalization speed of foreign cultivators. After he confirmed the personnel situation of the sect, his next stop was the Dharma Transmission Hall. Currently, the two disciples Gyojin and Bangjun are responsible for the Dharma Transmission Hall. Now they have both entered the Golden Core realm. To be honest, with their cultivation qualifications, Wei Dongliu originally thought that they could not form a pill. It can only be said that Madame Jiang's supply of cultivation resources is really sufficient. Even chickens and dogs can ascend to heaven. Master. Master. Seeing Wei Dongliu taking the time to come, the two quickly stood up to greet him. Yuojin's expression was full of excitement, which showed that the child was really happy. Banjun's smile was much more polite. After all, Wei Dongliu spent too little time with her, and she was closer to Madame Jiang. How is the Dharma transmission going recently? Wei Dongliu signaled that the two did not need to be polite, and then asked about business. Banjun immediately handed over the list. Who made great contributions on a certain day of a certain month of a certain year, and what kind of skills they received were all recorded in the list. Wei Dongliu roughly flipped through it for a while and found that the main fools who received these skills were the cultivators in the Jindan realm. Although there are more cultivators in the foundation building realm, they are weak after all and cannot make many contributions. Most of the skills they received are low-level skills that are not presentable. Yuning realm cultivators, there are not many Yuning casual cultivators who come from outside, and most of them are more reserved and rarely do things like earning contributions to receive skills. However, if this trend continues, when these current Jindan realm cultivators are promoted to the Yuning realm, the number of high-level cultivators in the mortal path will definitely usher in a wave of surges. By then, maybe they can even compete with Kunlun head-on, but by that time, I guess Wei Dongliu's identity will no longer be needed. Thinking of this, Wei Dongliu also became a little bored. What's the point of bothering to manage this mortal path now? This foundation will not belong to me sooner or later, so I might as well let it go. He returned to the cave in a depressed mood, and saw that Jiang Lin had returned and was putting on makeup in front of the bronze mirror. Madam. Wei Dongliu remembered that this lady's true identity was actually a demon, so he asked tentatively, "What was your identity before you joined the demonic path?" "Why do you ask this suddenly?" Jianglin showed a slightly shy expression. "Before I joined the path, I was a fisherman in the East China Sea." "Oh," Wei Dongliu replied sullenly. Even without using the magical powers of the heavenly demon, Jianglin could tell that her husband was in a very bad mood at the moment, so she gracefully came behind him, stretched out her slender jade fingers, and gently massaged his temples. "Husband, is there something bothering you? Why don't you tell me about it? It's not a big deal." Although Wei Dongliu knew that if this woman used force with her fingers, with his divine power as the great freedom heavenly demon, she would probably crush his head directly, but after all, he had a Jin's teleportation to protect him, so he was not very vigilant and said casually, "Just a few days ago, I learned about the ascension from the immortal." "A sentence?" Jianglin was slightly stunned. "Well, ascend," Wei Dongliu said in a deep voice. "It is said that after our human cultivators become immortals, they will ascend to the fairy land. However, they will not reach the fairy land immediately, but will have to travel a long distance in the universe. On the way, there is endless chaotic water of the Sky River, which is freezing cold, and there are endless harassment and attacks from the demons, which are endless. In addition, in the universe, the true essence is limited and cannot be replenished, so it is not an exaggeration to say that it is a life and death struggle." "Oh." Which Jing breathed a sigh of relief immediately. "What did I think it was, ascension? Ha, husband, you don't have to worry. When you ascend, I will hijack you halfway and take you to the demon palace to be my exclusive male servant, so you don't have to worry about the water of the Sky River is freezing cold and the harassment from the demons is endless." "What are you laughing at, my lady?" Wei Dongliu asked curiously. Chapter 989. Busy Wei Dongliu laughing, "Are you?" Jianglin touched his face. "Yes." Wei Dongliu frowned and said, "Your smile is already written on your face, okay?" Jianglin laughed in his heart, but said, "Husband, it's too early for you to worry about the future now." "Too early?" Wei Dongliu asked in surprise. "Yes, too early." Jianglin gently massaged his temples and said softly, "If my husband has already reached the nascent soul realm, and is just short of transcending the tribulation and ascending to the immortal world, it would be a more reasonable situation to think about how to safely ascend to the immortal world. This is not the case." "Why think so much?" Wei Dongliu pondered for a moment and said, "If a man does not think about the future, he will have immediate worries. Since the road to ascension is so difficult, it would be too hasty to make plans before the ascension." "Ha ha." Jianglin couldn't help laughing again. "Why think so much? Your only destination is to serve me in the demon palace. My husband knows that if you don't think about the future, you'll have immediate worries," she said sweetly. "Have you ever heard of the saying, there'll always be a way out when you reach the mountain? My husband hasn't ascended yet, and his basic realm is here. It's futile to think too much. Who knows, when he really ascends, he may find that the difficulties he was worried about are not a problem at all." Wei Dongliu was secretly relieved when he heard her say that. "Very good, since my wife said there will always be a way out when you reach the mountain, it means that she will escort me all the way to the mountain." "Oh, it's not bad to have a wife who is a great free demon." Wei Dongliu finally felt relieved, and suddenly saw Jianglin turned around and sat on the bed, with her legs elegantly crossed, and patted the empty space next to her. "It's just a little bit painful." After a few days, Wei Dongliu felt a little depressed. The body of the cultivator is strong enough, but the demon has the instinct to suck the marrow from the bones. Even if Jingmonu deliberately restrains some of the abilities that are released inadvertently, Wei Dongliu still can't bear it. In addition to daily practice, the Kaibao Chuan Yuan secret realm is about to open, so he also needs to prepare in advance. He once again took the list of foreign cultivators who recently joined the sect, and carefully studied it for several days. He found that these people are indeed inextricably linked with other sects on the Shenzhou continent. How many cultivators are truly grassroots? In fact, there are not many. If there is a poor boy in the countryside whose fathers have been farmers for more than 3 generations, then even if he is born with a clear mind, who will find out? He won't even know that there are sects in this world. Most of the cultivators have relatives and friends who lead them to the sect, and most of these relatives and friends, except for some casual cultivators, come from various sects in this way. As long as they pass through these foreign cultivators, they can use their network of contacts to contact most of the small and medium-sized sects. As for how to convince them, Wei Dongliu has already thought of more than a dozen rumors. From the closest to the truth, the secret realm of Kaibaho Chuan Yuan contains important clues about ascension, to the unfounded Kaibaho Chuan Yuan can quickly break through the cultivation of the nascent soul realm, etc. There are all kinds of remarks, just to see which one everyone is willing to believe. After thinking the plan through, Wei Dongliu quickly arranged it, and through these foreign monks who had just entered the sect, all kinds of news were secretly sent to various sects in the Shenzhou continent through the network of contacts. Of course, there are risks in doing so, because the various sects that get the news may be tempted by the proposal of the demon cult, or they may refuse to respond due to various concerns, or even turn around and report to the three pure ones of the Orthodox Church. However, history has proved that until Wei Dongliu led his men to the extreme north Tianzhu, the three pure ones of the Orthodox Church did not realize that the demon cult had established a cooperative relationship with these sects. It was not that the demon cult methods were too secretive, but that there was no corresponding intelligence department within the Orthodox Church at all, and even if they got the news, they would not pay much attention. Soon, Wei Dongliu received many replies. Since the message was passed on through relatives and friends, most of the Yuning elders who received the message had various replies, but their specific attitudes were similar. Elaborate, but I can only represent myself, not the sect. This is normal. After all, these small and medium-sized sects are unable to fight against the three pure ones of the Orthodox sect. Therefore, even if everyone is willing to participate in the joint action in the end, they can only represent themselves and cannot involve the sect behind them. However, the number of people who expressed interest in this far exceeded Wei Dongliu's original estimate. It seems that although everyone dares not offend the Orthodox sect, as long as there is the demon sect in front, there are still many people willing to stroke the tiger's beard. So Wei Dongliu planned to send a message again and invite all the Yuning elders to an offline meeting. Of course, the meeting place cannot be in Mount Watai, otherwise these Yuning elders will inevitably have many concerns when they gather away from home. Wei Dongliu chose a more popular Sangsu market, rented the largest auction house in the area, and attached the invitation to the message and sent it to the elders who expressed their intention. A few days later, the offline gathering was held as scheduled. When Wei Dongliu arrived at the auction, he saw that many Yuning elders had already arrived at the venue. They were sitting together in familiar groups of 3 or 5, chatting with each other. When he walked to their stage, the voices in the venue did not stop, as if these people came not to discuss important matters, but to hold a cocktail party to exchange feelings. After a moment of hesitation, Wei Dongliu pinched the dough formula and performed a simple illusion trick, showing a line of big words in front of everyone. If you can't become a Chaos Dailao Jinxian, you'll have no hope of ascending. These two simple sentences, like thunder and lightning, directly cut off all the chatter, and the noise in the venue came to an abrupt end. Everyone stared at the two words Chaos Dailao Jinxian and Ascension, with expressions of surprise, eagerness, deep thought, or solemnity. Does anyone know what Ascension is? Wei Dongliu stood on the stage with his hands behind his back, looking at the Yuning elders below, and asked like a teacher. No one answered, which was natural. Everyone was wary of the demon cult, and since the current situation was unclear, no one was willing to speak first. Ha ha. Wei Dongliu showed the same indifferent smile as Jiang Mengnu, and said calmly, Ascension is not about appearing in the fairyland immediately after the equinox. Do you know how far the Chaos River is between the fairyland and the cultivation world? After a stick of incense, many Yuning elders' faces changed slightly after listening to Wei Dongliu's many secrets of equinox and ascension. Obviously, although some people already know this, most Yuning cultivators still know nothing about the situation after ascension. The long distance, the biting cold of the Chaos River, and the endless harassment of the demons. Once the true essence is exhausted, there is no time to recover, and sooner or later they will be exhausted to death. Because of this, only the Chaos Dailao Jinxian with endless true essence has the opportunity to pass through the long Chaos River and reach the fairyland on the other side. Thinking of this, everyone could not help but feel fear and sadness. To be a Chaos Dailao Jinxian, one needs to form a first-grade immortal infant. However, now, apart from Changzheng of Kunlun Tai King sect, who else can form a first-grade immortal infant? Forming a divine infant is worth a big banquet and universal celebration, right? Seeing that most of the cultivators looked panicked, Wei Dongliu smiled faintly and said, the Chaos Dailao Jinxian needs a first-grade immortal infant, which also requires a first-grade golden elixir. If you step into the air first, you'll step into the air every step behind, and there is no possibility of recovery. However, is it really so? If it were true, the three pure ones of the Orthodox Church and our 6 paths would not fight for Baiyuxing, Angjingke and Kaibaho Chuan Yuan. This sentence, like a dagger in the eye, instantly killed everyone's many distracting thoughts again, and all eyes and attention were focused on Wei Dongliu. Is the demon cult worth cooperating with? Not worth it. Regardless of the reputation of the mortal lifter, the mere fact that cooperating with the demon cult would draw the wrath of the Orthodox Church was enough to keep most of the nascent soul cultivators away from it. However, if it involves making up for the flawed source of the dodo, let alone the demon cult, even if the opponent is the heavenly demon, it is worth a fight. After a few casual words that completely stumped everyone, Wei Dongliu finally opened the topic. About the secret realm of the seven treasures Chuan Yuan. That night, many nascent soul elders left the auction house silently, each of them looked worried. Before coming here, everyone had their own ulterior motives, and some of them even made up their minds that after hearing the news, they would turn around and go to the Orthodox Church to report the news. But this time, the news thrown out by Wei Dongliu was so heavy that no one could sell it out without being moved. Even if he took a step back, even if he told the Orthodox Church, what benefits could he get? If more than 1,000 Juning elders all agreed to follow that demon sect to the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm, what benefits would they get if they went alone to inform on the secret? What benefits could the Orthodox sect give that could compare to this opportunity to make up for the basic source of the Tao? Even if it was justified. In the empty auction hall, Wei Dongliu still stood silently with his hands behind his back, as if he was thinking about something for a long time. Husband, aren't you afraid that these people will go out and inform on the secret? The voice of Witch Jing sounded behind him. Although the three purities of the Orthodox Church are corrupt and ignorant, if there are too many people informing on the secret, at least they will be alert, right? Let alone anything else, as long as the Orthodox Church sends letters to many sects, most of the sects will be dissatisfied, but they will order their elders not to hang out with the demon sect, right? Wei Dongliu smiled calmly. Don't be afraid. Jing Lean. She waited for a long time, but Wei Dongliu didn't explain why he wasn't afraid. This mysterious style made her grit her teeth, but she quickly suppressed her dissatisfaction and said with a smile, "Do you want me to send people to monitor these nascent soul elders? If someone really goes to the Orthodox Church to inform on the secret, just eliminate them halfway, how about it?" Not appropriate. Wei Dongliu shook his head and said, "The death of nascent soul cultivators is not a common thing. If several nascent soul cultivators die one after another, and they are all people who came to the meeting today, what will the remaining cultivators think? Don't treat everyone as fools." Hilly. Jing Li said indifferently, "It's your idea anyway. I'm just responsible for providing suggestions. It's up to you whether to adopt them or not. In that case, would you like to go with me to the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm this time?" Wei Dongliu took her hand. Jing Mon was a little tempted, but soon thought that Kaibaho Chuan Yuan was a secret realm of the human race, and it would definitely not allow the demons to enter without permission. She could only force a smile and said, "I want to go too, but I haven't formed an infant yet." "Ah, so your current setting is still the Jindan realm?" Wei Dongliu was dumbfounded. Not to mention the identity of this demon, which Jindan realm cultivator in the world can suppress the Yunning cultivator so that he can't get up. Don't you feel awkward making up this lie? In that case, it's a pity. Wei Dongliu also suppressed the urge to sneer and said with regret. The two flew back to Mount Watai together on the sword. Although they stood side by side along the way, their eyes were not sideways, but their minds were on the other side. Knowing that the other party is lying, but it is difficult to expose it, and at the same time, you have to lie to cover up the fact that you already know that the other party is lying, this couple is probably in a similar ambiguous state. After returning to Mount Watai, Wei Dongliu quickly sent a letter by flying sword. This time, he did not contact many small and medium-sized sects, but invited the other 6 sects of the Hell Path to come here to discuss matters. Since the last time, in order to stop Shushan, everyone formed a group to go to Yunweng's country, and in the end it can be said that nothing was gained, the best example of harming others and not benefiting oneself. Although weakening the 3 pure ones of the Orthodox Church is a consensus of the 6 paths, most people are reluctant to fight such a fruitless battle, so they gave replies one after another after several days. You can get together, but what do you want to discuss? Wei Dongliu naturally would not reply. After all, he is the leader of Wei. He only has the right to issue decisions to the people below. How can he explain the decisions to the people below? You just need to execute them. When the day of the meeting came, it was only Demon Bone Immortal who came from Yingli Do, but when Yang did not come, the one who came from Tianmodo was Ling Yun Immortal. The one who came from Shiradu was Gilai, and the one who came from Dongwangdu was Long Shaoqi, both of whom were also in the Jindan realm. Putting aside the fact that they were all acquaintances, the four sects all sent Jindan immortals who did not have enough say to come to discuss the matter, which was actually clearly implying a resistance attitude of don't come to us if there is nothing important. Wei Dongliu was not angry, but just said lightly, "This time, Fan Shendo invited you to come to discuss the matter of Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm." 4 people. Hearing this heavy news, the 4 people reacted in different ways. Demon Bone Immortal was first shocked, and then ecstatic. The sect misjudged Fan Shendo, thinking that this time it was another reason for Wei Damon to increase his prestige, so no Yuning elders came to the meeting, and only he took the initiative to come to find out the truth. But unexpectedly, it was to discuss such a big matter as Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm. If it were any other Rengui, knowing that he was only at the Jindan level and not high enough in status, he would of course hurry back to report the news and ask the sect to send a high-level cultivator who could make the final decision. At least he had to be a trusted confidant of the sect leader. But Demon Bone Master was not afraid of trouble, and immediately made up his mind. Talk first. After talking with Wei Dongliu, he would take the negotiation results and turn back to the sect to negotiate with the group of old immortals, so that he could hold the initiative in his own hands. He calmly looked around, passing by the listless Longxiaqi and the solemn Gilai, and finally fell on Master Lingyun. He didn't know the 2 Jindan masters from Donghuangdo and Shirado, and he thought they were unknown. The key to the next negotiation, whether everyone can join forces to resist the pressure from the Fan Shendo, will fall on Master Lingyun. Chapter 996 Paths Meeting. Once upon a time, among the 6 paths of the demon cult, the in-ghost path was the strongest, followed by the heavenly demon path. The 2 fought each other, and the mortal path was ranked 3rd, getting the best of both worlds. It felt like a triangle relationship between Cunning, Shushan, and Penglai. However, since the emergence of the Wei sect master, who completely destroyed the master-disciple relationship and gave away the inheritance of the mortal path to others, the power of the mortal path has also begun to grow significantly. Although the industry still has different views on high-end strength, in terms of overall strength, it is generally recognized that the mortal path is the strongest, the in-ghost path is 2nd, and the heavenly demon path is inevitably in a situation of getting the best of both worlds. In the eyes of the Demon Bone Master, if the mortal path is the only one in power, it is obviously against the interests of the heavenly demon path. Therefore, the heavenly demon path should choose to cooperate with the in-ghost path to jointly fight against the mortal path, which got the clues to the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm first. When Demon Bone Master was about to send a secret message to Master Lingyun, he heard Wei Dongliu speak first. After the last attack by the Golden Palace, the 3 pure ones of the Orthodox sect will definitely take strict precautions this time. In order to break through the Orthodox sect's defenses, I have decided to join forces with many sects in Shenzhou. Everyone. Longxiaqi and Master Lingyun still looked indifferent, but Gilai opened his eyes and looked at Wei Dongliu in surprise and admiration. Demon Bone Master was stunned at first, thinking why should he share this peach that was delivered to his mouth with other sects? Then he noticed Gilai's expression and realized. With the previous experience, the 3 pure ones of the Orthodox sect will definitely take strict precautions this time, and it will be extremely difficult for the 6 paths of the demon sect to attack them. But what if they use the power of the external monks? Penglai likes practical benefits, and Kunlun values reputation. As long as there are enough external monks, in order to avoid offending the world's fellow monks, Kunlun Penglai will definitely work without effort. Only Shushan will fight against the 6 paths of the demon sect, which will be relatively easy to solve. Of course, even if Master Magyu thought this was a brilliant move, he still wanted to suppress Wei Dongliu, so he said, "Great. How many monks will enter the secret realm this time by attracting the world's sects to join? How outrageous will the difficulty of the trial be? It's really a good plan." Master Lingyun, Gilai, Longxiaqi. The silence of these 3 people made Master Magyu feel a little bad. Indeed. Wei Dongliu said lightly, "The sharp increase in the difficulty of the trial is the biggest flaw of this plan. Then, fellow Magyu, do you have any good ideas to break through the encirclement of the 3 pure ones of the Orthodox Church without increasing the difficulty of the trial? What can I do?" Magyu was immediately speechless. The 3 pure ones of the Orthodox Church will definitely make strict defenses this time, and all kinds of means will be used, so it is probably impossible to bypass the defense line in a roundabout way, and the only way is to charge head-on. Wei Dongliu proposed to bring in all the monks in the world to join the game and jointly attack the defense line of the Orthodox sect. This was a brilliant move. It was okay for him to find faults, but it was impossible for him to come up with a better idea. Seeing that Demon Bone Master was speechless, Wei Dongliu smiled faintly and said, "Since everyone has no objection, then this matter is settled." Demon Bone Master left Zongtai Peak, feeling extremely bad. Suddenly, he stopped Ling Yun Master, who came out from behind and asked, "What does the heavenly demon throw mean? Does it mean that from now on, only the mortal life throw will follow its lead?" Ling Yun Master pretended to be surprised and covered his mouth, asking in confusion, "What did Demon Bone Master say? Didn't you not object the whole time just now?" Demon Bone Master asked with a sneer. What Alliance Leader Wei said was very good. Ling Yun Master said simply, "Why object?" Demon Bone Master choked again. "No, you are finding faults in X, don't you understand? If you don't find faults and let Wei Dongliu's prestige accumulate, won't he become more arrogant in the future? In this case, how can Engidu and Jotian Moda compete with the mortal duo?" Seeing that Master Mogi was so angry that he couldn't speak, Master Ling Yun chuckled and said goodbye. Mogi returned to the Engidu and told the situation to the Fushi sect master and the White Bone Venerable. The three were speechless. To be fair, it is certainly a good idea to mobilize the monks of the neutral sects to fight against the three pure ones of the Orthodox sect. Why didn't the Engidu and the Tian Modia think of this idea before? Of course, it is because everyone can't get in touch with so many high-level monks from neutral sects. Who has so much time to make friends everywhere? Not familiar. How to convince others that the relationship is not familiar enough? However, the two soon realized that the mortal duo today is indeed capable of doing this. To put it nicely, it is a gathering of heroes and stars. To put it bluntly, it is a gathering of people from all walks of life, which is not conducive to the cohesion of the sect. Wei Dongliu was able to turn the sect's disadvantage into an advantage, which made Master Fixie and Venerable Bai give stunned. Thinking about it carefully, they were full of admiration. Since Wei Dongliu has made arrangements, let's execute it according to this. Venerable Bai made the decision. Wait a moment. Master Fixie had a different opinion. If a large number of foreign monks pour into the secret realm, it will definitely increase the difficulty of the trial. In this way, the situation will be difficult to control. If we don't use this plan, Venerable Bai said, the cost of using the combined power of the six paths to break through the defense line of the three pure ones is too huge and not worth it. It's better to borrow the power of foreign monks. Mogi made a timely suggestion: blackmail the three pure ones and force them to the negotiation table. The three parties will agree on the number of places. That's fine. Master Fixie nodded and said, as long as the number of people entering can be controlled, it's okay to give some places to foreign monks. I'm afraid Wei Dongliu may not agree. Venerable Bai said slowly. Demon Bone Master looked at Master Fushi in surprise, meaning, why is the immortal so cowardly now? Master Fushi ignored him, thinking that the Blood Sea Patriarch was standing behind Wei Dongliu. Although Venerable White Bone was a sect guarding immortal, he certainly would not go against the Blood Sea Patriarch for such a small matter. Besides, there was nothing wrong with Wei Dongliu's plan. In that case, we should send as many people as possible to the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm this time. Master Fushi continued, otherwise, if the situation gets out of control and a large number of external cultivators pour in, I'm afraid we can only rely on luck after entering. That's right. Venerable White Bone nodded and said, everyone in the Nascent Soul realm should give it a try. The Master and the Immortal said a few words and then decided on the matter. Of course, what they tacitly did not mention was the group of cultivators who had already reached the great perfection of the Golden Core realm and were just one step away from passing the tribulation and advancing to the Nascent Soul realm. Of course, you don't have to worry about those from other factions, but if they are from your own family, you should make arrangements for them to transcend the tribulation and form a baby before the secret realm of Kaibaho Chuan Yuan is opened. Chapter 991 Exercise begins. As the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm was about to open, the undercurrent in the cultivation world was also surging. The monks of Shushan and Penglai began to gather secretly in the direction of the extreme northern pillar. Wei Dongliu also collected many replies from the elders one after another. What everyone was more worried about was how many people were willing to participate in this action. What if there were only 2 or 3 kittens mixed in the team of the demon sect? Wouldn't they become a thorn in the eyes of the Orthodox sect and be hung up to serve as a warning? Wei Dongliu was well aware of the psychology of these fence-sitters, so no matter who came to ask, the answer was most people are here, you can come or not. After receiving this reply, most of the Union monks kept silent, as if they had lost interest. As a result, when Fan Xingdao set out, the monks from various large, medium and small sects who joined along the way were much more than originally expected. I think human nature is like this. If you're extremely eager, the other party will come to control you. But if you don't care, the other party may be more likely to make up their minds. After arranging many neutral sect monks into the lineup, Wei Dongliu led an increasingly large group of monks and marched to the vicinity of the extreme north heavenly pillar. The patrolling monks arranged by the three purities encountered such a large group of people and hurriedly sent a letter to the rear with a flying sword to report the news. The leader of the Fan Xingdao sect, with the heroes of the world, came to visit the three purities orthodox sect. Wei Dongliu said loudly, and shot another flying sword with the corresponding letter attached. The letter was quickly caught by the patrolling monks and then delivered to the hands of the three sects masters. In the letter, Wei Dongliu sincerely proposed to put aside disputes and jointly develop with the three purities of the orthodox sect. The Kaibao Chuan Yuan secret realm belongs to the Kaibao Chuan Yuan secret realm of the entire human race in the cultivation world. It opposes individual sects to arbitrarily use hegemony to monopolize the most precious wealth of all mankind. After reading the letter from beginning to end, Master Ziwei had no expression on his face. Su Jian sneered, and Master Chuan sighed secretly. Since the other side brought too many monks from neutral sects, Penglai was absolutely unwilling to go head-on. Otherwise, even if the three pure ones of the orthodox sect won a great victory, almost all the customers would be offended. It is better to let them into the secret realm and let each one rely on their own ability. Of course, this must not be said directly on the table, otherwise the Shushan side only needs to say lightly, in this case, let them have the quota of Yu King Temple, which will make Penglai lose face. Therefore, the head of Xuandu used the delaying method very skillfully. The demon sect is so powerful, and there are many monks from other sects among them. It is implicated and it is not easy to start a war rashly. We need to carefully identify them. Su Jian simply sneered at this. Identification, how to identify? They are all standing in the demon sect team. Does Penglai have to identify their identities one by one and pull them out before the battle? Although he didn't like politics, he wasn't stupid. He knew that Penglai was implicitly expressing its unwillingness to fight, so he asked coldly, "What does Kunlun mean?" The head of Ziwi's sect glanced at him and didn't answer for the time being. The reason for not answering was simple. The situation on Kunlun's side was more complicated. It was not as deeply involved with many sects as Penglai, but it was not as reckless as Shushan. Well, it would be better to go back and ask Chan Zheng to see what this precious disciple thought. A few days later, as history said, Qiu Changtai accurately saw through Wei Dongliu's lack of control over these foreign monks, so the two sides could not reach a consensus and limit the number of trial places. Everyone rushed into the secret realm in a large number, and this matter could not be avoided. Wei Dongliu, on his side, naturally saw through the other side's operation, and did not wait for the orthodox sect to give any response, but led the team to press forward directly when the secret realm was about to open. The two sides soon engaged in battle outside the extreme north sky pillar. Almost not long after, the orthodox sect immediately had a slight disadvantage. The reason was simple. In order to rush into the Seven Treasures mysterious garden secret realm as quickly as possible, most of the Union elders of the Orthodox Church were rushing towards the entrance of the secret realm, leaving only a small number of people to stop the demon cult. Since the demon cult could not get close to the secret realm for the time being, everyone was attacking the Orthodox Church's defense line, so that these Orthodox Church elders soon couldn't hold on, and they retreated while fighting, and were defeated. After the Orthodox Church's defense line quickly collapsed, the foreign monks mixed in the demon cult's lineup also rushed to the entrance of the secret realm in a swarm. The six paths were not so anxious. In order to prevent the monks of the three pure ones of the Orthodox Church from taking advantage of the first entry advantage and hiding in the secret realm to ambush themselves, the monks were asked to form teams and enter the Seven Treasures mysterious garden secret realm. Wei Dongliu, as the commander-in-chief of the six paths, flew slowly towards the golden streamer on his sword after the elders of the mortal path had almost entered. After entering the Seven Treasures mysterious garden secret realm, he appeared on the sea as the sky and the earth spun. Similar to Qiu Changtai's opening, Wei Dongliu at this time also had a small boat under his feet, drifting with the waves in the storm. An old man's shadow appeared on the boat and gave the opening speech he had given 4 times, roughly introducing the rules of this secret trial and the conditions for the final victory, without questioning Wei Dongliu's identity. Wei Dongliu thought for a moment and suddenly asked, "Does the 9 netherworld and hell exist in this secret realm?" Yes. The old man replied coldly, but this world simulates the great disaster of world destruction. The Yellow Spring, which originally lacks order, has a much worse environment than the outside. If you want to go, it's up to you. Thank you. Wei Dongliu bowed and watched the old man's shadow disappear. Then, he began to think patiently. In his memory, there are two entrances to the ground veins that he remembers. One was in a mine, where he went down with Jianglean. The other was in the prison dragon well, where the trapped old dragon blocked it with his lower body. Considering the timeliness, the latter is obviously more likely to have existed in ancient times. Now that Wei Dongliu has been promoted to the nascent soul realm, coupled with the effect of the chaos demon body, he can resist the erosion of the 9 nether yellow spring and dive into the depths of the hell to explore. If it were in the real world, doing this would definitely attract the attention and even vigilance of the Hell Road. But the 9 nether yellow spring in the trial secret realm is not monitored by the Hell Road, so it is a perfect exercise site for familiarizing with the subsequent crime scene. Wei Dongliu dived deep into the seabed, relying on his rough memory and the positioning of the Kunlun mirror, and flew towards the northern central plains of Shenzhou. Along the way, he naturally encountered countless turbulence, and many times he was in danger and almost got swept into the burning stars. But with his extremely fast response to teleportation, Wei Dongliu was able to escape every time and then continued to rush to the north. Chapter 992. No wing can be missing. Today, the Shenzhou continent has been completely submerged under the endless deep sea. The huge water pressure has caused most of the houses and buildings to be flattened, and no traces can be seen at all. If it is a large city, there are still broken walls and ruins left because the walls and gates are built with hard stone bricks. Wei Dongliu followed the low-lying area of the seabed and struggled to identify the original river valley traces. When he found a broken wall, he could probably guess which big city in the outside world it corresponded to. After such careful exploration, he finally found the location of the ancient capital. In this secret realm, all the terrain probably comes from the old man's own memory. If the prisoner dragon well in the ancient capital cannot lead to the 9 nether yellow spring, or if there is no 9 nether yellow spring in the secret realm, then everything Wei Dongliu did at this time would be in vain. Therefore, when he first entered the secret realm, he would ask the old man directly whether there is the existence of the 9 nether yellow spring in hell. With the answer, it is easy to act. After finding the location of the prison dragon well, Wei Dongliu quickly flew down the well on his sword. Sure enough, although the direction inside had changed a little, it was roughly the same as in Luoyang's memory. The old man must have been here before. Arriving at the depths of the prison dragon well, Wei Dongliu found the entrance to the ground vein, and there was no old dragon blocking the entrance. The entrance to the ground vein looked like a broken skin wound, with a faint, dark blue glow, which was the external manifestation of yin qi. Wei Dongliu activated the state of the chaos demon body, and then jumped into the entrance of the ground vein. The 9 netherworlds and the 18 hells, each layer is a world, and the lower you go, the thicker the yin qi becomes. The last time I came here with Jianglean, the two of them had a low level of cultivation and did not dare to stay too long. They just picked the other short flowers along the forgotten river and then left in a hurry. Now that Wei Dongliu has a profound magic skill, he is naturally not afraid of those ordinary ghost soldiers and ghost generals, but in order to avoid the annoying interrogation and questioning, he simply turned into a ball of black mist and flew through the air at an incredibly fast speed. Wei Dongliu suddenly realized that there seemed to be no ghost soldiers guarding the entrance to the ghost gate below. Could it be that this world-destroying disaster has already affected hell? Thinking of what the old man said, that the hell and the yellow spring were more affected by the world-destroying disaster, Wei Dongliu had some guesses. In the yellow spring cave heavens of different levels, they are also connected to each other in the form of the entrance of the earth vein. Wei Dongliu found an entrance and then went down to the second level. A Jing. He said in his heart, "Did you find it?" "Yes." Jing said in a deep voice, "It was destroyed more at the rule level, but at the physical level, there is almost no frontal attack." Wei Dongliu said directly. He slowly scanned the surroundings and confirmed again that the yin qi inside the hell and the yellow spring had already approached chaos in its flow direction. Take the outside world as an example. Famous mountains and rivers are often rich in spiritual energy, and the further out you go, the thinner the spiritual energy becomes. In this way, cultivators can choose a fixed location to ensure that their cultivation can have the best spiritual environment. In the yellow springs of hell, the yin qi should be similar. Wherever the river flows, the more yin qi will accumulate. But now in the secret realm, the flow of yin qi has been completely disordered, and there is no regularity at all. If there are ghost cultivators practicing here, they will be crazy. However, although the flow path of energy has been completely destroyed, due to the layers of obstruction of the Earth's crust, the water of the Tinha River and the burning stars outside have not caused any impact on the Yellow Springs Hell. In other words, if Luo Du Chang of the Hell Road really has a way to seal the hell with the fragments of the sky repairing stone and then rearrange the flow path of Yin Qi, then it is not completely impossible to create a refuge for the human race. Of course, it is not something that ordinary cultivators can do to turn Yin Qi into spiritual energy that human cultivators can practice. The refuge built by Helto, I think only the monks of Helto can survive without restriction. Wei Dongliu continued to look for the entrance of the earth vein, and gradually went deeper into the Yellow Spring Hell. The lower he went, the more violent the flow of Yin Qi became, and the purity also dropped significantly, appearing thick and filthy. Fortunately, he was a chaotic demon body, and had a considerable resistance to these filthy impurities. If it were another monk who came down, as long as he took a breath, he would probably die from meridian rot immediately. This is not right. Wei Dongliu said in surprise, if I remember correctly, the lower you go into hell, the purer the energy should be. That's why the Yin soldiers and ghosts, and all kinds of demon kings in hell, become more powerful as you go down. If it gets more filthy like this, then there will really be no grass growing in the depths of hell. Actually, this is normal. Su Mingjian said, in the celestial world, clear energy is light and turbid energy is heavy, so turbid energy will fall and gather towards the center, which is Yin energy. And in the center of the earth is the chaos of the celestial world. Yin energy has a strong inertia, so it can seal the chaos in the center of the earth and prevent it from disturbing the outside world. But now the world is destroyed, causing the Yin energy to flow violently and disorderly, and it is impossible to continue to seal the chaos deeper, so the surrounding environment is extremely filthy. No wonder the old man didn't try to stop me when he heard that I was going to the Yellow Springs Hell. Wei Dongliu sneered, if this place is conducive to survival and hiding, he must have used some tricks to send me to a more dangerous place. But the depths of this hell are really not a place for people. It is only because of the protection of the Earth's crust that it can block the water of the Milky Way and the bombardment of the stars, otherwise I really can't think of why the Hell Road chose this place as its location. After talking with Yijian for a while, Wei Dongliu finally arrived at the Wujian Hell, which is the deepest part of hell. The sect headquarters of the Hell Road was built in the demon city of this hell. I don't know what benefits Taoist Enelio gave to the demon lord to make the demons in the city turn a blind eye to the Hell Road. Wei Dongliu rushed to the demon city according to his memory, and saw that many city walls, mansions, and houses were still there, but the streets were already empty. Obviously, affected by the chaos gushing from the center of the earth, there was no one left in the demons here, and they all ran away. Arriving at the location of the sect's residence in the Hell Road in his memory, Wei Dongliu saw a huge deep pit. Rather than a deep pit, it was more like a toilet, with a large amount of foul air constantly pouring out of it, the kind that would kill you immediately if you inhaled it. Wei Dongliu was speechless, thinking that the Hell Road really knew how to choose a location. Find the place closest to the chaos in the center of the earth in this layer of the infernal hell, and then seal it with the fragments of the heaven repairing stone, so as to eliminate the biggest hidden danger in the hell. If I forcibly take the fragments of the heaven repairing stone, it will inevitably cause the suppressed chaos below to riot, and then overflow from the earth veins, causing disasters for all living beings. These karmas will be counted on my head again. Ajin, let's start. He sighed faintly. Well. The Kunlun mirror cooperated to scan. Wei Dongliu carefully observed the flow of chaos, and began to conceive a plan for the formation in his mind. Speaking of which, I really have to thank the Wangxiang Immortal of Pengliu King Temple for giving Luo Yam the formation scroll for constructing a small sky dome, otherwise Wei Dongliu would have no way to get this entrance to the center of the earth. He quickly went through the plan in his mind, then took out the tripod and formation instruments that had been prepared long ago from the storage bag, and began to arrange the formation. A few days later, there was another earth-shaking explosion, accompanied by a large amount of splashing of chaotic filth, and the dusty Wei Dongliu also escaped on his sword. It is not without reason that the Hell Road chose to use the fragments of the sky repairing stone to seal the chaos deep in the center of the earth. Ordinary tripod magic weapons are difficult to suppress the chaos in the center of the earth. Not long after the formation was arranged, the formation instrument itself was contaminated and failed. If the formation instrument is not to be contaminated, it must first suppress the chaos in the center of the earth, but to suppress the chaos, the formation must be arranged first. There is no way. Wei Dongliu pondered for a moment and asked, Ajin, is there any magic weapon that is not afraid of filth? Yes. Su Ming answered, isn't her original body a magic weapon? The mirror is a divine object, naturally bright. As long as you use her original body as a weapon to suppress the formation and set up the formation, you'll definitely be able to suppress the chaos in the Earth's core. Don't say it. Wei Dongliu shouted at it loudly, a Jing is my beloved relative, I will never sacrifice her in this hell. The mirror was very moved when she heard it. Although she also knew that she would definitely not be abandoned by Wei Dongliu with the great role she could play, she still felt a little throbbing and joy in her heart when she heard him say beloved. That's what you said. Su Mingjian still didn't give up and continued to fan the flames. First use the Kumla mirror as a device to suppress the formation, set up the formation, so that the chaos can't overflow and pollute the device to suppress the formation, and then slowly adjust the formation, and use other devices to replace the Kumla mirror, right? What you said does make some sense, Wei Dongliu pondered. Of course, it's not okay to press the Kumla mirror in the formation. But if it's just borrowed for use, it doesn't seem to matter. Seeing that Su Ming's sword succeeded in adding fuel to the fire, Kumla mirror was also very angry and agreed. That's right, why don't we use Su Ming's sword as a weapon to suppress the formation? It is forged with the energy of Qin and is not afraid of the chaos and filth in the center of the earth. Isn't it much more useful than me? What a joke. Su Ming's sword saw that he was bringing trouble to himself and argued hurriedly, Master Sword Master, I'm your natal sword. If you didn't have me, the loss of combat power would be too serious, but it's different, a Jing. After you finish patching up the sky, you won't need to continue to open a small account to mingle in the major sects, and naturally you won't need this mirror, right? Wei Dongliu became more and more interested and thought that what he said made sense. When I have finished patching the sky, I don't need to open an old, so naturally I don't need this broken mirror's illusion, I only heard Kumla mirror hurriedly say. Where? Yuanzu, if you complete the patching of the sky, it means you have betrayed all the major sects, and you will definitely be hunted down by others. With my illusion and teleportation, you can go anywhere in the world. But if you leave me here to suppress the chaos, what if there is a problem with the formation, causing my body to be unable to move out? How will you deal with those sects later? It's better to leave this Qin Su Ming sword here, and then we go to get the Sun Shenmue sword. Anyway, our identities will be exposed by then, so even if we go to Nanjing Tianqian openly and exchange the information about the Dragon Fox for the Sun Shenmue sword, what's the problem? Wei Dongliu thought it was right. A Jing's illusion and teleportation are not only used to play the old, but also very powerful when helping me escape. On the contrary, that broken sword knows how to conceal its strength, have fun and fan the flames all day long. Although the rank is indeed very high, it is not irreplaceable, maybe the Sun Sword will be easier to control. That's enough. Su Ming's sword said angrily, the sword spirit of the Sun Sword is an old-fashioned man who doesn't know what a man of insight is a hero with. Master Sword Master, I, Su Ming, have good vision, so I picked you at the first sight in the sword pool. If you can't convince the Sun Sword, it will be useless to suppress it with force. If you don't believe it, you can go to Nanjing and ask the Sun Sword Master in person. Wei Dongliu thought that it was true. He still remembered that near the sword pool of Shushan, there was an inscription, why doesn't Qin Su Ming sin, how dim is the Sun Sword? The reason why Qin Su Ming's sword refused to obey was because it discovered Yin Xiaojing's identity as a demon, and it could also be explained by the human sword cannot obey the alien race. The Sun True Darkness sword resisted hard, which simply meant that it refused to obey Aang Zhao. The sword spirit itself had too strong a rebellious consciousness. Don't let the time come when I take the Sun True Darkness sword from Aang Zhao, but the sword spirit refuses to obey me, and the Sun True Fire burns wherever I go, then my reputation will be ruined, and I'm afraid I will be laughed to death by the monks who would chasten me. Or my Su Ming sword is trustworthy. So Wei Dongliu looked at Kumla mirror again, and only heard Arjun say, it's okay. When we steal the fragment of the heaven repairing stone from the Hell Road, we can leave the Su Ming sword here first and use it as a weapon to set up the formation. Then after repairing the sky, go get the Sun True Darkness sword. It would be best if the True Darkness sword is willing to obey. If it is not willing to obey, we can take it to the depths of hell and exchange it for the Su Ming sword, right? Wei Dongliu was very happy to hear this, thinking that this is a really good idea. In this way, I won't lose anyway, it's great. You are such a genius. Su Mingjian was amazed, he has already defected to the hell, and you still want Lord Swordmaster to return to the depths of hell, fearing that the hell can't catch him, right? Lord Swordmaster, this broken mirror is harboring evil intentions, I suggest that you leave her here. So in Discord. Kunlun Mirror was not to be outdone. This broken sword is spreading rumors to confuse the people. I suggest that it is more appropriate to leave it here. Okay, stop arguing. Seeing that the mirror and the sword were arguing fiercely, Wei Dongliu could only smile bitterly and come out to persuade them to make peace. You are all my wings, okay? Without a Jin, I wouldn't be able to move around in the pursuit of the major sects. Without Su Ming, I wouldn't be able to protect myself calmly when I was intercepted by the immortals. So you are like my left and right wings. Without any one of you, I can't escape. I won't sacrifice any of you. He said this with emotion, but Kunlun Mirror and Su Ming Jian did not show any emotion, but fell silent at the same time. I don't know why, I suddenly don't want to talk to this guy. Chapter 993 I am too responsible. I don't know how long it took. Wei Dongliu looked at the gap in the center of the earth, thought and said, damn, I feel like I'm really a genius. A Jin, Su Ming, you see, this formation can extract the chaotic pressure below and convert it into its own driving energy. And all the components are above the formation. If chaos wants to pollute the formation equipment, it must first break through the formation. But to break through the formation, it must first pollute the formation equipment. In this way, it is foolproof. It's not foolproof. Kunlun Mirror suddenly said, the defensive center of this formation is all below. If someone destroys the formation from above, the chaos will still leak out. Po Jin, can you use your brain to think about it? Wei Dongliu said impatiently, yes, the weakness of this formation is above, but if someone really destroys the formation, causing chaos to erupt outward and causing a huge humanitarian disaster, can the retribution and karma be blamed on me? Kunlun Mirror and Su Ming Jian were both speechless. The hell uses the fragments of the sky repairing stone to seal the chaos. If Wei Dongliu takes the fragments and ignores them, causing the chaos in the Earth's core to leak out, then all the disasters and bitter fruits will be counted on Wei Dongliu. But Wei Dongliu created a formation to replace the original sealing function of the sky repairing stone. Of course, this formation is very extreme, with all the defenses piled up below, so that even a naughty boy throwing a stone from above can easily destroy the formation. However, as he just said, if someone really destroys the formation, the responsibility is all on the other party, and it has nothing to do with me. From the perspective of causality, this is indeed the case. A simple practice actually has a profound historical philosophy behind it. Why do everyone like to be a paper hanger? As long as the weather is good when I'm in office, even if I plant some triggers and cause floods during my next term, it is the fault of the next term. Of course, this cannot be said to Wei Dongliu. If you say something sarcastic to him, he will definitely ask you back, what good ideas do you have? If you can't answer, he will laugh at you and talk to you. Therefore, although the mirror and the sword both felt that something was wrong, they were very tactful and didn't say much, so as not to make things difficult for themselves. Wei Dongliu was admiring his work when he suddenly heard someone say, you went deep into the underworld to study the formation to suppress the chaos in the Earth's core? The old man appeared next to Wei Dongliu. Wei Dongliu was just slightly startled, and immediately answered subconsciously. If it were in the real world, if the chaos erupted due to the slightest carelessness, I would certainly not be regretful to die, but what about the common people? What about the people? He spoke these words with ups and downs, and with great righteousness, so that the old man was stunned on the spot, and said after a long while, he is indeed a hero. He shook his head and sighed for a long time, and finally said, this Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm is originally a test of fortune and luck. And you were a body of chaos demon, and you are not afraid of the chaos of this yellow spring hell. It is actually premeditated and a trick. But the fact that you can have the idea of saving the common people is really beyond my expectation. Even if you pass the test, what can it do? Wei Dongliu sneered in his heart when he heard this, but said, then may I ask, Senior, can this formation seal the chaos in the Earth's core? Although this formation is good, it is too extreme. The old man commented casually, if someone tries to sabotage it from above, how can you resist it? This is the limit of my skills. Wei Dongliu said calmly, what do you think, Senior? Look. Su Ming Jian said to Kunlun Jian in surprise, look, he really got up to me. Humph, that's easy. The old man snorted arrogantly, and produced a long sword from his hand. He wrote and drew on the ground, and said, look, your formation design is indeed unique, but if you change it like this, wouldn't it be better? How can it be changed like this? When Wei Dongliu heard that the perfect formation he had worked so hard on for days and nights could still be found flawed, he immediately asked unconvincedly, Senior, if you change it like this, the energy consumption of the formation will inevitably increase. My original design was that the chaos in the Earth's core below would provide enough pressure to continuously charge the formation above, and the efficiency of this charging would just be on par with the long-term consumption, achieving self-sufficiency without maintenance. Can you see that, Senior? How can you not see that? The old man laughed and said, your design concept has been thoroughly studied in our time, and the consensus among people is that it's flashy but not practical. What's the point of self-sufficiency without maintenance? It would be better to change to regular maintenance in exchange for better performance. Can't you calculate the cost-effectiveness? Who will maintain it? Wait, Omlio retorted again, after the formation is set up, do I have to come back every few thousand years to maintain it? That's exactly the problem. The old man laughed and pointed at him, young man, why do you want to shoulder all the responsibility? Suppressing the chaos in the center of the earth is the common responsibility of the entire human race, why do you have to do it alone? Wait, Omlio thought to himself that in your era, the human race fought against the three races of demons, ghosts, and monsters, so of course the cohesion was extremely strong. But in today's era, it is a confrontation between good and evil, and it is simply a pipe dream to want to work together. Even if everyone knows that the great disaster of world destruction is coming, they also want to protect their own sects. Work together to repair the sky and save the world. Impossible. Who will organize it, and who can trust whom? However, what the old man said also makes sense. After all, the Hell Road has regarded the depths of hell as its base. If you take away the fragments of the sky-repairing stone and leave a formation at the gap in the center of the earth, the Hell Road will definitely maintain this formation in order to prevent the chaos from leaking out and polluting the hell of hell. Wonderful. As the old man said, I am too responsible and think too far ahead. All the sects in the world, cunning, Shushan, and Penglai, all the ghosts and demons, even if one of them stands up and runs back and forth to save the world, why should I get used to taking on this important task and not even think about it for a while? Alas. Wade Omlio quickly made a decision, skillfully blaming the reason why his efforts were almost in vain on the fact that the major sects in this world were too lame. According to the old man's suggestions, all the subsequent maintenance work will be left to Hell Road to complete. Thank you for your guidance, Senior. He saluted with a sincere heart. Okay. The old man stroked his beard and said with satisfaction, since you have understood it, I will send you out. The quota of the 12 Masters of the 7 Treasures Chuan Yuan has been determined. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Mundo Fanfic Novelers, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelers. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 994 The True Identity of Taoist Master Luo. After getting the clues of the secret realm of the Great Light Palace, Wei Dongliu left the secret realm with everyone else. Back near the extreme north sky pillar, the situation on the field was on the verge of breaking out. The countless six-path cultivators and independent cultivators who were killed and eliminated by Ling Yunpo, now transferred their anger to the Shanking sect of Shushan. Shushan was naturally not afraid of this, and even some hot-tempered peak masters and elders stared fiercely at the opposite side, waiting for Su Jian's order to rush up and kill happily. Penglai had already started to leave, and Kunlun was just preparing to run away because Qiu Cheng's time came out a little late. On the six-path side, there were 3 people who got the quota, namely Wei Dongliu, Wenyang and Gilai, and behind them were the Mortal Path, the In-Ghost Path and the Shura Path. The first 2 are not surprising, but the Shurdudo can actually surpass the Heavenly Demon Duo and win the fruits of victory this time, which makes many Six-Duo cultivators look up to the old monk Gilai, and they are even more curious about what tricks the subsequent master will take to obtain clues to the secret realm of the Great Light Hall. After all, the Great Light Hall contains the secret that can repair the basic source of the Duo, so that even if the immortals have not become the Chaos Daluo Jinxiam, they can successfully ascend to the Fairy Land. Wei Dongliu returned to the main formation and quickly met with other elders to discuss how to deal with it next. Of course Shushan will fight. Wei Dongliu said without hesitation, in the secret realm, the Qin Sword Master of Shushan has offended many cultivators. Now is the time when the public is excited. If it can weaken the strength of Shushan, why not fight? Then let the cultivators of other sects take the lead. An elder asked thoughtfully. If we order them to lead, they will certainly be suspicious and think we are going to kill someone with a borrowed knife. Wei Dongliu answered without hesitation, let those who are willing to fight Shushan join us. Just when we fight Shushan later, everyone should pay attention to withdrawing the offensive and try to let them stand in front. Okay. The elders responded in unison. to kill someone with a borrowed knife, but not to let the knife detect it. As cultivators who have climbed up step by step in the evolutionary environment of the 6 paths, everyone is very familiar with these conspiracies and tricks. After fighting with Shushan for a day and a night, the cultivators of the neutral sects had almost all run away, and the 6 paths slowly withdrew their troops. When Wei Dongliu returned to Mount Watai, he was immediately summoned by the Blood Sea ancestor to ask for clues about the Great Light Hall. In short, that's it. He told the Blood Sea ancestor the clues, but he didn't show an ecstatic expression, but a little thoughtful. After waiting for a long time, Wei Dongliu could not help but ask, does the ancestor have any doubts? Well, no. The Blood Sea ancestor waved his hand. That's it, you go back first. Wei Dongliu. He returned to the Tongshuan men station with a lot of complaints, and he was already cursing in his heart. Although it was 1 fish, 4 meals, but the 3 respected immortals Kisun, Changmea, and Wang Xiangol gave enough generous rewards. You, the old thief at the Blood Sea, actually wanted to refuse the reward. I don't think he refused. Kunlun Mirror suddenly said, it seems that he was thinking about more important things, so he didn't have time to think about rewarding you. Whether he did it intentionally or not, if there is no reward, he didn't give it. Wei Dongliu sneered, since this old thief is ruthless, don't blame me for being ungrateful. You are determined to betray. The mirror and the sword were both speechless. The more Wei Dongliu thought about it, the angrier he got. He didn't read other files, but stayed on this timeline for a few more days to see if the old thief's Yuhei would suddenly remember this matter and give him a reward. But he really didn't, and he was so angry that he was fuming. Speaking of fuming, there was something strange about another place. Wei Dongliu suddenly remembered that he had returned from the Kaibaho Chuan Yuan secret realm and got the clue of the Great Light Hall. Why didn't Taoist Luo from the Hell Road contact him? Thinking of this, he suddenly had an epiphany. Could it be that the old ancestor of Yuhei was Taoist Luo from the Hell Road? Is that so? Kunlun Mirror said in surprise, the Blood Sea Patriarch and Taoist Luo look so different. There are all kinds of secret techniques in this world. Wei Dongliu said in a deep voice, the secret technique that can change a person's physical appearance is naturally not rare. Besides, this Blood Sea Patriarch practiced the Deadwood Zen and made himself as skin and bones as a dead tree. Who knows if he filled himself with flesh and blood and restored his original state, would he look similar to Taoist Luo? If you say that, it is indeed possible. Su Mingjian also echoed, when the Deadwood Zen is practiced to a high level, it is said that one can wither and flourish at will. When withered, he is skin and bones, shaped like a dead tree, but his body is extremely tough and is not afraid of any external or internal injuries. As long as the mind changes slightly, he can turn from withered to flourish and return to his original state. There is one more thing. Wei Dongliu continued, at the beginning, the Helder wanted to plant me in the mortal dojo, but it turned out that the Blood Sea ancestor personally spoke up to help me recapture Yunxiu Mountain, Lingxiu Mountain and Falling Moon Mountain. At the time, I was wondering, why did the Blood Sea ancestor help me rebuild the mortal dojo? If the Blood Sea ancestor is just a pseudonym of Taoist Luo, all these strange things will make sense. I see. Kunlun Jing suddenly realized, now that you have got the clue of the Great Light Hall, only the Blood Sea ancestor came to ask, what Taoist Luo at the Heldo didn't care at all. I think it's because the two of them are actually the same person. Oh no. Wei Dongliu suddenly shouted, in this way, I know why the Blood Sea ancestor was in deep thought that day. The reason why Taoist Luo at the Heldo ambushed insiders in the major sects is actually to build a cave heaven in the depths of hell, so he wants to get the fragment of the heaven repairing stone in the hands of the 3 purities. So, after I told Blood Sea Patriarch about the clues of the Great Light Hall, the first thing he thought of was not to go to the Great Light Hall to find a way to make up for the basic source of Taoism, but to take advantage of the time when the 3 pure ones of the Orthodox Church came out together to seize the fragment of the heaven-mending stone inside the 3 pure ones. He was thinking the same thing as me. At this point, one person, one mirror, and one sword were speechless for a moment. This fact came too abruptly, so that no one had thought about how to deal with it. To put it in a bad way, if there is a demon immortal hiding in the dark, it will definitely bring great variables to the subsequent actions of Qiu Cheng Tian, Ling Yunpo, and Oyan. But to put it in a good way, if you can find an opportunity to use it and turn the variables into advantages, wouldn't it be more certain? Being able to use the power of an immortal, isn't it much better than fighting alone? In other words, we have to figure out one thing first. Wei Dongliu said in a deep voice in his heart. Is that Blood Sea Patriarch, Luo Chang of the Heldo? Chapter 995 I will teleport. It is not difficult to verify whether the Bloodsea ancestor is the descendant of Hell. No matter what secret method he used to change his body, as long as the Kunlun mirror scans it carefully, it will be able to find clues. Wei Dongliu found a reason and went to report to the Bloodsea ancestor again, but he was impatiently perfunctory and drove out. During this period, the Kunlun mirror also scanned him carefully and memorized the details of the other party's body. Next, we have to go back to the depths of hell. Qiu Changtai said to the Kunlun mirror in his heart. Contact Taoist Luoyu and find a reason to go back. Kunlun mirror asked for confirmation. No. Wei Dongliu said cautiously. After visiting the Bloodsea ancestor, he immediately contacted Taoist Luoyu. His intention is too obvious. Is it obvious? Kunlun Jun asked doubtfully. After talking to the Bloodsea ancestor, he suddenly thought of the news of the Great Light Palace. He should report it to the Hell Road as well. Isn't it normal? Don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of one. Wei Dongliu frowned and said, if the Bloodsea ancestor is the head of the Hell Road, then he has been able to hide his identity for so many years. Both his mind and means must be extraordinary. As long as we can avoid making him suspicious, no matter how cautious we are, it is not too much. He returned to the room. Although his expression did not seem unusual, which Jing still noticed that he was worried and could not help but ask, husband, if you are still worried about the ascension, I think it is unnecessary. I was born in a heavenly demon blow, and I have studied the heavenly demons. The many heavenly demons along the way seem to be the biggest danger of ascension, but in fact they are not difficult to deal with. I'm not worried about that. Wei Dongliu waved his hand, thinking about how to deal with the demon lady, when suddenly an idea came to his mind. Wait, it seems that there is no need to hide this from her, right? As the head of the mortal life to Wei Dongliu, I suddenly found that the Bloodsea ancestor, the immortal of my own sect, behaved differently. It is normal to discuss it with the lady in private, right? So he told Jingli secretly about the matter. Logically speaking, there are clues to the basic source of the Dao in the Great Light Hall, and the Bloodsea ancestor should be quite interested in it. However, the Bloodsea ancestor did not have much joy on his face, but seemed to be thinking about something, which made Wei Dongliu feel something was wrong. That's it. The demon lady Jing was also speechless. Then do you know that you often show such a mysterious expression? Me? Wei Dongliu was puzzled. That's right. Jingli said with a chuckle, no matter what happens, your reaction is always beyond my expectations, so if you ask me, the ancestor probably just has some concerns that we don't know about, so you don't have to be suspicious of it. That's true. Wei Dongliu nodded and said, but if you can take a closer look and confirm that I am of her thinking, wouldn't it be better? Jingli was about to laugh at him, but suddenly she felt something was wrong. She realized that although her husband always liked to keep people in suspense and acted like he knew everything, he had never seen enemies everywhere. He said, I hope I'm overthinking. In this case, it is definitely not overthinking. It is more likely that he has already obtained some evidence, so he said so. Thinking of this, Jingli volunteered. Okay, then I'll go and find out the truth about this immortal of the mortal way. Are you okay? Wei Dongliu's heart moved, but he pretended to be worried and asked, the other side is an immortal, it's okay. Jingli was full of confidence, my illusion is very powerful. Throwing the matter to his wife again, Wei Dongliu was relieved. The matter of the Bloodsea ancestor was left to the demon wife to verify. Before officially trying to seize the fragment of the sky-making stone, two things need to be done. First, go to the Shenangjia secret realm and retrieve the treasures that were not obtained before. Second, go to the Shushanyuan cave to get the purple palace thunder and try to combine the 9 thunders. In this way, if he is chased by many sects in the future, he will be more confident to deal with it calmly. Ajin, load the file. Wei Dongliu ordered. Since he was going to the Shenangjia secret realm alone, it didn't matter what account he used. After switching between each account and taking the magic tools and flying swords he needed to carry, he finally switched to Qiu Changtai's account, then left the Kunlun Mountains and flew quickly towards the Shenangjia secret realm. After using the Tianu divine shuttle to reach the Shenang secret realm without an entrance, Qiu Changtai came to the Blade Mountains again, then used the 5 elements divine light and rushed in. The last time he came here, Luoyan was still in the Golden Core realm. He had to resist the great gravity here and protect Qiuli, but he still couldn't use his full power and was burdened. Now that he has formed a nascent soul, it seems quite easy to open the way. Qiu Changtai went down all the way and moved towards the Earth Pole Magnetic Mother and the Chaos Red Talisman. As the distance gradually shortened, the pressure on his body gradually began to increase, until Qiu Chang's time confirmed that his physical body had reached its limit. This Earth Polar Magnetic Mother is indeed not an ordinary thing. If you really get close to it, I'm afraid even immortals can't resist it. What method did Shannon use to move such a large piece of the Earth Polar Magnetic Mother to this secret realm? Qiu Chang's time pondered in his heart, and his hands kept chanting. He just stood there and used the 5 elements divine light to completely penetrate the passage in front. I saw that next to the Earth Polar Magnetic Mother, there was indeed an unknown talisman floating. The light on it was faintly in conflict with the twisted light around the Earth Polar Magnetic Mother, maintaining a balance of being attracted and repelled. Due to the suction of the Earth Polar Magnetic Mother, most of the magic weapon flying swords would be sucked onto the Earth Polar Magnetic Mother before they reached the location of the talisman, and then crushed by the huge gravity. But Qiu Chang's time was not afraid at all and was full of confidence. Suming, it's up to you. Suming's sword was powerless to complain. He knew that he was destined to do hard work, so he could only obey the orders of the sword master and fly quickly towards the mysterious talisman. Only half of the distance was flown, and the terrifying gravity from the Earth Polar Magnetic Mother had completely cut off the sword's induction with Qiu Chang's iron. In other words, if Qiu Chang's iron was trying to control the flying sword from behind by using the sword control technique, he would find that the flying sword was completely out of control. Fortunately, as one of the 2 swords of X's, the Suming sword was also extremely powerful in its own rank. It withstood the suction of the low-level magnetic mother and came to the side of the mysterious talisman to roll it up, then immediately turned around and ran away. Before it ran far, the mysterious talisman suddenly shone brightly and broke free from the sword light of the Qin Suming sword. The Suming sword's main energy was still on resisting the Earth Polar Magnetic Mother, but it escaped without noticing. The mysterious talisman seemed to be blown by the wind, and in an instant it passed Qiu Chang's time and was about to quickly float towards the passage behind. The next second, Qiu Chang's time appeared in front of it again, and then grabbed it. Unexpected. I can teleport. Chapter 996. Bottom line. After getting the talisman, Qiu Chang's time did not dare to put it into the storage bag, but held it in his hand to let the Kunlun mirror suppress it. Although it is obedient in my hand at this time, even the Earth Polar Magnetic Mother and the Qin Suming sword cannot do anything to it. How can a mere storage bag lock it? Why not try it now and see if the Tianu Divine Shuttle can be unsealed? Qiu Chang's time's mind moved slightly, and he did it as soon as he said it. He took out the Tianu Divine Shuttle with his left hand and slapped the talisman on the shuttle with his right hand. There was no reaction. Just when he suspected that this was not the Chaos Red Talisman, he saw the tactile text on the surface of the Tianu Divine Shuttle light up again, and it flashed at the same time as the text on the talisman, reflecting each other. Then, the light gradually went out again. Although the Chaos Red Talisman did not fail, it seemed to have been greatly consumed, and it just lay limp in Qiu Chang's time's hand. Judging from the appearance of the Tianu Divine Shuttle, it must have been unsealed, but the specific new effects after unsealing can only be confirmed by observing with the Dragon Tiger Tractor in Pendlai. Qiu Chang's time put the 2 away, and then rushed to the next level of the cave without stopping. In the water-walking cave, he quickly came to the location of the seabed last time, and then recarved the Wanli water veins divine traveling formation on the ground. After being teleported to the seabed cave again, Qiu Chang's time soon saw the remains of a huge thunderbird, and Yuchinli's scriptures were quietly floating in the bones. Countless tiny electric snakes jumped quickly along the bones. Some attacked the scriptures suspended in the center, but were soon scattered on its surface. The scriptures were as thin as cicada wings, and seemed to be woven with extremely fine gold threads. I don't know what material it is, but it can withstand the lightning of the thunderbird skeleton. Qiu Chang's time stared at the thunderbird and asked the Kunlun mirror again. Can't it be teleported out? It's not easy. The Kunlun mirror replied, the voltage inside is too strong and it distorts the space. You should not know what voltage is. Of course I know. Qiu Chang's time said proudly, if you can't, just say it directly, no one here will laugh at you. Kunlun mirror. Qiu Chang's time ignored the broken mirror that had lost its value, and turned to ask Suming Jian. Suming, can you break open the skeleton of the thunderbird and take out the scriptures inside? Breaking the skeleton is no problem. Suming Jian replied, there is a huge amount of thunder and lightning power hidden inside the skeleton, and it will definitely burst out when it is broken. Of course I can hold on, but I don't know if the scriptures can hold on. Can't you pass through the gap between the ribs of this thunderbird? Qiu Chang's time asked with a frown. If I go in, it will also trigger the electric field. Sumin Jian explained patiently, the area where these electric snakes move actually has an invisible electric field. Master Sword Master, do you know what an electric field is? Why don't I know? Qiu Changtai asked back, can't you even avoid triggering the electric field? Forget it, I had too high expectations of you. Sumin Jian. This broken mirror and broken sword are unreliable, Qiu Changtai can only think alone. Obviously, the Thunderbird skeleton is both a cage for storing scriptures and a time bomb. Once affected by external forces, it will blow the scriptures inside to pieces. But if no external force is used, how can this cage be broken? Qiu Changtai thought for a long time, and suddenly clapped his hands and said, Jin, since you can scan the subtle details of the Blood Sea ancestor's body structure, it should not be difficult to scan the text on this scripture. Kumlin Jin was silent for a moment, and said, it can't be done. How can you not do it? Qiu Changtai frowned and said, don't lie to me. The ultra-high voltage in here distorts the space. I can't even lock the coordinates for teleportation, so how can I scan the text above? Kumlin Jin said angrily. But isn't your scanning essentially a skill of calculation? Qiu Changtai asked, what does it have to do with space? Kumlin Mirror. Forget it, don't struggle anymore. Sumin Jian suppressed his laughter, since he has thought of it, help him scan it. Humph. Kumlin Mirror said angrily, I can scan it for you, but you must apologize for what you said before, otherwise I will. I'm sorry, the Supreme Kumlin Mirror, please help me scan this Thunder Method scripture for the sake of Butian. He admitted his defeat so quickly that Kumlin Mirror was stunned on the spot, and it took him a long time to come back to his senses, but he didn't feel the slightest joy of turning defeat into victory, but just felt like a fool. After spending some time scanning all the words in the pages of the scripture and entering them into a blank jade slip, Kumlin Mirror immersed himself in the sea of consciousness and said in a muffled voice, okay, don't come to me for a while. What's wrong with Arjun? Qiu Changtai asked in surprise, are you feeling unwell? Kumlin Mirror ignored him. Qiu Changtai didn't take it seriously. He just quickly immersed his spiritual consciousness into the jade slip, and after confirming that the Yushan Leido method on it was correct, he put it away solemnly. The matter here is over. Arjun, send me to reload the Shushan file. As the world spun, Ling Yunpo had already opened his eyes from the stone bed and asked in surprise, hey, Arjun, why don't you recite the lines of point 2? Kumlin Mirror still ignored him. It's okay, Master Sword Master. Sumin Jian persuaded, just let her calm down. Well, Jin doesn't need to calm down often. Ling Yunpo said something he didn't know what it meant, and then flew directly on his sword and flew towards the Fire Yuan cave. With the help of the Chuanguan ruler given by the Longmei Immortal, he fixed all the various Fire Yuans hidden along the way outside and successfully went down to the depths of the Fire Yuan cave. These thousands of caves, all kinds of treasures, are dazzling, and it's really dazzling. Ling Yunpo was not in a hurry. He reviewed them one by one and actually found a few treasures. Although they were not of the supreme rank like Fanshan Seal and Chuanguan ruler, they were enough to catch his eye. What a pity. If I were really Shushan Ling Yunpo, I would just take whatever I liked. Anyway, as the Qin Sword Master and the next headmaster of Shushan, I can use the treasures in the sect at will. Taking a few of them will not be a problem at all. Unfortunately, Shushan Ling Yunpo is just a vest of his. The current headmaster of Shushan, Su Jian, is his mentor, and the best candidate for the next headmaster of Shushan, Zesu, is his senior sister. If he takes too many treasures at this time, the loss of Shushan will be greater after the rebellion in the future, and the blow to Su Jian and Zesu will be heavier. Therefore, as a person with a minimum moral code, Ling Yunpo decided to only take the fragments of the Purple Mansion Thunder and not ask for anything else. This is the bottom line of a man. Chapter 997 Wrong answer. The last 3 thunders in the Thunder method are the Purple Palace Thunder, Jade Morning Thunder and Take South Thunder. Among them, Take South Thunder can be transformed into the shape of a thunder dragon, with great power to destroy the world, so it is most suitable for destroying large environments such as caves. Qiu Changtai has already mastered Take South Thunder and has a solid foundation and learning experience in thunder methods. Therefore, although the remaining 2 thunder methods are difficult, he did not encounter any bottlenecks. The first one he learned was the Jade Morning Thunder, which is a ball of light in the hand, and when it is shot out, it is a laser, which is also very powerful. According to the Thunder method, this Jade Morning Thunder has the ability to break the magic and destroy the essence. If it hits the flying sword magic weapon, it can completely destroy its origin in an instant, so it is the nemesis of all magic weapons in the world. Since there are only fragments of the purple palace thunder and the lower half is gone, Qiu Changtian's understanding is not satisfactory. At present, we only know that this thunder method is very vicious. It only emits a faint purple light when it is shot out, which is very inconspicuous, but if it hits the human body, the lightning will travel along the meridians and damage wherever it goes. If the lightning reaches the Danton, the Yining will wither, the Jindan will shatter, and the foundation of Taoism will be completely destroyed, and there will be no power to turn the tide. After practicing the Purple Palace Thunder, Qiu Changtian tried to combine the 9 thunders into one and comprehend the Supreme Taikai Thunder. However, every time he thought about it and delved into the difficult part, there was still a bottleneck that he could not get through, just like a piece of wood in a wooden barrel was missing, which made it impossible to achieve perfection. It seems that the mastery of the Purple Palace Thunder is still not enough, and he has to find a way to get the missing second half. Of course, this thing is very lucky. Even if we take a step back, whether the second half of the Purple Palace Thunder has been preserved in this world is still unknown, and Qiu Changtian will naturally not pin all his hopes on it. It seems that the matter of condensing Taikai Thunder still has to wait until after the sky is repaired. Recently, he has switched between many trumpets many times. First, he planned to wait for the immortals to leave the sect together and go to the secret realm of the Great Light Palace. Second, he also wanted to see if he could find the whereabouts of the fragments of the Purple Palace Thunder. Now his 3 positions in the Orthodox sect are all Yining elders, so most of the book collections of the 3 sects are completely open to him. After 10 days of hard work, he still didn't find any clues. Turning back to Dongliu, he finally got a new message from Jianglin. "Husband, you will never guess what I found." Jiang Madam found Wei Dongliu that day and said with a mysterious smile. Wei Dongliu was stunned at first, and then he was shocked again. Sure enough, the Bloodsea ancestor is actually the clone of the elder Luo Chang. The ancestor actually has a dual identity. He hurriedly asked in secret. What dual identity? Jianglin was puzzled. It's, Wei Dongliu hesitated, weighed his words, and said carefully, "Don't you find that his current appearance is just a disguise?" "No," Jianglin said. "Then, the current appearance is his true face, so he can change into other appearances." "No." "What is it?" Wei Dongliu was finally confused. Seeing her husband confused, Jianglin secretly felt happy. "You have always been teasing me, and now it's my turn to bully you." She emptied the satisfaction that surged in her heart, and then slowly revealed the answer. The ancestor of the Bloodsea has actually died a long time ago. Dead? Wei Dongliu asked dumbfoundedly. Yes, dead. Jianglin smiled secretly. Isn't he practicing Deadwood Zen? What Deadwood Zen? It's just a cover to deceive people. The reason why the Bloodsea ancestor has become skin and bones, neither human nor ghost, is because he has been dead for a long time. Dead? Kumlinjing asked in disbelief, but when I scanned him last time, there was clearly life in his body. No way. Wei Dongliu also parroted, but according to my observation, there should still be life in the old ancestor's body. What life? Jianglin waved his hands secretly. It's all fake, the body is not dead, but the origin of his soul has long been gone. Wei Dongliu. He pondered for a long time before slowly asking. So, it's the corpse talking? Yes. Jianglin sneered secretly. Someone used a very advanced corpse manipulation technique to manipulate the corpse to move, talk and practice, disguising himself as an immortal who practiced secret techniques to the point that his body and brain were damaged. What Deadwood Zen, what seclusion, what not caring about the sect, all are deliberately mysterious, just to cover up the fact that the Bloodsea ancestor is just a corpse. Physically speaking, the Bloodsea ancestor can even be said to be still alive. If I am not interested in this, never mind, I have already found out, you just need to know the result. This news was so shocking that Wei Dongliu didn't know what expression to show. If what the lady said is true, the Bloodsea ancestor is just a corpse, and the person behind that corpse is most likely Luo Chang of the Hell Road. However, even if he knew this news, it seemed useless. He could only confirm that his movements in Watai Mountain were always seen by Luo Chang through the eyes of the Bloodsea ancestor. Wei Dongliu pondered for a long time, thinking that Luo Chang was really scheming, and he could even control a sect guarding a mortal of the mortal road without knowing it. Terrible. My wife. Wei Dongliu came up with another plan and asked, since you have confirmed that the Bloodsea ancestor is actually a corpse, can you use some means to take control of him from the person behind the scenes? What's so difficult about this? Jiangli thought without hesitation, it's a piece of cake. Just ask my sister to occupy the body directly. No matter how the other party uses secret techniques to remotely control it, can she still disobey that demon that occupies the body? That would be great. Wei Dongliu pondered for a moment and said, don't use it for the time being. When I need it, I will ask for help from my wife. Yeah. Jiangli nodded in agreement and was about to leave when he suddenly felt something was wrong. This is calling me when there is something to do and sending me away when there is nothing to do. Isn't this treating me as a tool? You order me to do things, and you don't even say a sweet word after you're done. You really think you are the head of the family, right? Exploitation. You must exploit me hard. The witch sneered in her heart, and turned to ask Wei Dongliu. Did you forget something? What? Wei Dongliu was puzzled. I think I just asked you to investigate the Bloodsea ancestor, and didn't ask you to do anything else. Seeing that the husband answered wrong, Jiangli was too lazy to give him more chances, and just hugged him horizontally by the waist, and threw him on the bed before Wei Dongliu could react. Chapter 998 The real purpose is revealed. Brother, why do you look a little bad? Zhu Yingyan asked curiously. Nothing. Qiu Changtai forced a smile. I've been practicing thunder magic recently, and I've been stuck in a bottleneck, so I'm a little worried. With your intelligence, it only takes a lot of time to master thunder magic, so I rush it. Zhu Yingyan advised tactfully. Qiu Changtai looked at Zhu Yingyan and smiled faintly. From the time she first entered the sect to now, Junior Sister Zhu has really changed a lot, but she has never changed. Zhu Yingyan, who first worshipped cunning, was born in the prominent Tianan Zhu family, and her arrogance was almost unmatched. Until her dignity was shattered by Qiu Changtai. After countless competitions and countless pursuits, Zhu Yingyan's arrogance was repeatedly shattered and recast, and became more and more restrained. She still likes to compete with her senior brother, but she is no longer overly entangled in winning or losing. She has always been unwilling to give up chasing her senior brother, but she is no longer obsessed with surpassing him. Zhu Yingyan is still the junior sister Zhu, but she is no longer the original junior sister Zhu. For the sake of her senior brother and husband, she chose to reconcile with herself. However, the truly cruel thing is that the senior brother Qiu Changtai she knew was not the real Qiu Changtai at all, of course. Qiu Changtai laughed. Senior brother, I'm the strongest. Zhu Yingyan curled her lips slightly. After so many years, she still couldn't fully adapt to her senior brother's casual boasting. But her mouth corners soon curled up again, and she smiled. When senior brother has mastered the thunder method, we will have another match. Okay. Qiu Changtai thought to himself, when I master the thunder method, how can you be my opponent? Then he said, by the way, now that junior sister has also been promoted to the nascent soul stage, does the sect plan to ask junior sister to accept disciples? Yes. Zhu Yingyan said casually, both the sect and the family have, but I rejected them all. Why? Haha. Zhu Yingyan smiled and said, because I already have 4 disciples to take care of, I'm too busy. In the past, facing the teasing of his wife, Qiu Changtai must have been embarrassed. However, after so many years, it is not just Zhu Yingyan who has grown up. Shi Li runs the Tiangong Fang in an orderly manner, and Jiangli can maintain the operation of the Mortal Life Road. Why can't the affairs of Kunlun be handed over to junior sister Zhu? Treat everyone equally, okay? In terms of teaching students in accordance with their aptitude, I'm much worse than junior sister. Qiu Changtai said seriously. Zhu Yingyan was stunned for a moment, then turned his head and said, I'm not very good at it, but I'm more patient. According to what junior sister said, then senior brother is not very good at cultivation either. Qiu Changtai said with a smile, I'm just more talented. Zhu Yingyan couldn't hold it anymore. Qiu Changtai's words were not completely without basis, because in terms of pure cultivation time, Zhu Yingyan's time was far more than his. The reason why his cultivation progress was better than Zhu Yingyan's could only be explained by his extraordinary talent, but is it really appropriate to say it so bluntly? Qiu Changtai was about to say something, but suddenly he received a flying sword letter from Ziwide's headmaster. He unfolded the letter and took a look, and his face suddenly became stern. From today on, Kunlun Tai King sect began to impose martial law in the entire sect. The so-called martial law in the entire sect means that everyone must stay in the sect's residence in the Cumlin Mountains, and no one is allowed to go out without permission. Usually when there is an external enemy intending to invade the sect's residence, it is a special measure taken to integrate the power of the cultivators. But Qiu Chang's-Han had guessed that the reason why the Cumlin Tai King sect was under martial law was not because of an invasion by foreign enemies, but because the Red Pine Immortal had left the sect. As the highest power in the world of cultivation, the role of the sect guarding immortals should not be underestimated. Ordinary small and medium-sized sects can do without a sect guarding immortal. After all, they don't have anything worth plotting against, but a wealthy sect like Cunning. Once there is no sect guarding immortal sitting in, if the immortals of the hostile camp take advantage of the situation, the loss will definitely be extraordinary. Not to mention, the Red Pine Immortal is going to explore the secret realm of the Great Light Palace, and God knows when he will come back. Of course, although Qiu Chang's-Han had guessed everything, he still had to pretend to be at a loss and ran to the Ziwili sect master to inquire about the situation. Therefore, he said a few more words to junior sister Zhu, asking her to stay in the cave to practice obediently and go to find the master himself. Zhu Yinglyan nodded and agreed. Watching Qiu Chang's-Han fly away on his sword, Zhu Yinglyan looked at his back and suddenly had the urge to reach out and call his senior brother. This impulse was so strange that her rationality quickly took over again and she suppressed the strangeness. Why did she feel as if her senior brother was going to leave and never come back? It was probably because he was too tired from practicing, so he had to go back to calm his heart. Thinking of this, Zhu Yinglyan, who was a little uneasy, decided to ignore the ominous premonition and turned around and went back to the cave silently. In the lecture room of Yaxu Palace, Qiu Chang's-Han really learned the news he had been waiting for from Ziwili sect master. Kisun Immortal has found the whereabouts of the secret realm of the Great Light Palace, and joined forces with Changmei Immortal and Wangxiang Immortal to go and look for it. People who go to look for the secret realm don't know when they can return. Therefore, Cumlin Tai King sect, on the one hand, imposed martial law on all sects to deter the surrounding enemies with bad intentions, and on the other hand, sent letters to summon many powerful people in the world who are friendly with Cumlin, inviting them to visit Cumlin and stay temporarily. These great powers were almost all former Cumlin sect monks. After forming their infants, they went out to establish their own sects and finally ascended to heaven. Although they could not compare with the Golden Immortal like Kisun Immortal in terms of immortal rank or cultivation strength, they were born in Cumlin after all, and they were also the immortal rank forces that Tai King sect could fully trust. Therefore, they needed to be gathered together as soon as possible to defend the mother sect. Qiu Chang's-Han did not need to do the work of receiving them, and the head of Ziwili sect could handle it himself. However, as the pre-appointed candidate for the next head, after all the great powers arrived, the head of Ziwili sect would also arrange a time for Qiu Chang's-Han to meet with the predecessors. Qiu Chang's-Han naturally had no objection to this and agreed seriously. The fragments of the Butian stone were imminent, let alone arranging him to meet the predecessors. Even if the head of Ziwili sect asked him to sweep the toilet, he had no reason to refuse. Just deal with it as soon as possible. After the head of Ziwili sect finished speaking, Qiu Chang's-Han finally revealed his true intention and brought up the topic he had prepared long ago. Master, I have been practicing thunder magic recently, but I have encountered a bottleneck and cannot get out. I want to go to Fenbahu Rock to get some magic weapons to assist in practicing thunder magic. No problem. The head of Ziwili sect did not doubt him and waved his whisk directly. You can go by yourself. If Elder G asks, just say that I allowed it. Chapter 999 Cumlin Mirror also has a bottom line. It is still unknown whether the head of Ziwili sect will regret what he said. But Qiu Chang's-Han was very determined. It's done. With the permission of the head of Ziwili sect, he can stay in Fenbahu Rock openly on the pretext of looking for treasures that can assist in the practice of thunder magic. Elder Ga, who guards Fenbahu Rock, has an unshakable habit of returning to the cave to drink tea every day at Chunchi, and then practicing in meditation. Therefore, if someone comes to Fenbahu Rock to take treasures after Yshi 2/4, he may be ordered to leave by Elder Ga and asked to come back tomorrow. As the successor of the head of the sect and the beloved disciple of the head of Ziwili sect, Qiu Chang's-Han will certainly not be treated the same as ordinary cultivators. Therefore, he just waited slowly until Yshi 3/4, when Elder Ga was ready to leave, and then hurriedly flew over from a distance on a sword and explained the situation to Elder Ga. In short, I have encountered a bottleneck in my practice of thunder magic, and I have not found the corresponding classics in the Sutra library, so I want to see if there are any auxiliary secret treasures in the Dividing Treasure Rock. The master has also approved this matter. dividing treasure rock. Elder Ge did not doubt the fact that Master Ziwei approved and just subconsciously recalled the storage in the warehouse. Unfortunately, most of the magic weapons he knew were offensive, followed by defensive ones. Elder Ge really didn't know about such magic weapons that assist in practice. In other words, he could neither say that there were any nor that there were any. How long does Chang Zheng plan to stay in there? He asked more questions for the sake of caution. It's hard to say. Senior, why don't you go back and lock me in? Qiu Changtai said with a smile, come and pick me up tomorrow. How can that be possible? Elder Ge shook his head. How about this? I'll leave a hole in the magic circle that seals the treasure dividing rock. When you find it later, just come out and the magic circle will automatically close. The implication is that there is no need to worry that Qiu Changtai will take a large amount of treasure from the treasure dividing rock. First, Elder Changzhen is the successor of the headmaster. No matter what kind of secret treasure he wants, the headmaster Ziwei will probably allow it. There is no need to use this method to deceive. Second, no matter how many treasures he takes away, when Elder Ge comes back the next day, he only needs to count the inventory to know, and there is no need to worry about being deceived. Third, of course, drinking tea is the most important thing. Qiu Changtai pretended to be embarrassed, but finally nodded. He wandered between the shelves, identifying the information about the secret treasures on them one by one. Elder Ge originally wanted to accompany him to find treasures and explain the specific information, but after all, it was almost the afternoon, and he didn't have much patience. When the time came, he said something to Qiu Changtai and left silently with his hands behind his back. Qiu Changtai nodded in response, and then continued to wander around in the treasure dividing rock, as if he was really looking for some specific secret treasure. There were several times on the way, passing by the hidden secret door. The secret door was blocked by a row of shelves in front of it. According to the scan of the mirror, it should have never been opened for hundreds of thousands of years. But Qiu Changtai was not in a hurry to go in, but continued to wander around, in case Elder Ge regretted halfway and came back to cause trouble. He waited until the middle of the night, and estimated that Elder Ge was probably in meditation in the cave, and Qiu Changtai finally cheered up and came to the front of the secret door. After scanning and confirming that there was no mechanism restriction on the shelves in front of the secret door, he began to move the shelves. This shelf is made of stone. It seems to be connected to the ground, but in fact it is just stuck to the ground because it has been placed there for too long. Qiu Changtai used the suming sword to cut the sticky part, and then carefully moved it aside. Then, he stood in front of the secret door. Open it violently? Or find a normal way to open the door? In my opinion, since the Red Pine Immortal left the Tianmen Palace secret realm and left the fragment of the heaven-fixing stone in the secret realm, it is impossible for him not to take precautions. Qiu Changtai pondered, maybe as soon as I entered the secret realm, some restrictions were activated immediately, which notified the Red Pine Immortal while restraining me. In that case, there is no point in protecting this secret door. He pressed his palm on the wall and urged the 5 elements divine light to melt out a large hole in the wall for passage, as well as a passage behind it. Qiu Changtai stepped into the passage, changed his mind, and turned back to move the shelf back to a distance to block the hole. Afterwards, he used the 5 elements divine light again and glued the melted wall back together with the earth element. Although the wall was repaired, it was obvious that the patterns, carvings, etc. on it were definitely completely different from the surrounding walls, and a closer look would reveal flaws. Fortunately, the repaired wall itself was blocked by the shelves, so unless someone stared at the shelves, they would not be able to detect it. By the way, Kunlun Mirror suddenly asked, after getting the fragment of the booty and stone, how were you going to leave? How else can you leave? Qiu Changtai was puzzled. Read the game, then delete the account, and there will be no Qiu Changtai in the world anymore. Kunlun Mirror. She really wanted to ask, are you doing this to junior sisters you? But thinking that it was she who caused this ending, she couldn't say anything. If she hadn't forced him to collect the booty and stone, would he have opened a small account to infiltrate the major sects like this? Naturally, he wouldn't have become attached to Zhu Yingyan. Alas, although he seemed to be indifferent, he was the one who suffered the most. Kunlun Mirror thought like this at first, and then quickly comforted himself. It's okay, I've already given a hint to junior sister Zhu. I won't let Yonzhua sacrifice himself to repair the sky, and I won't let this relationship end with tears and pain. No. This is the moral bottom line of my Kunlun Mirror. Qiu Changtai walked through the passage, and asked Kunlun Mirror from time to time, are the restrictions around normal? If the immortal Kisun has discovered this secret passage and made some changes in it, then he will be courting death. Oh. Kunlun Mirror was a little absent-minded, and said after a while, "It's okay, it's exactly the same as the one in the secret realm, it should have not been discovered in the past hundreds of thousands of years." "Why are you absent-minded?" Kyo Chang's Time said dissatisfiedly, "Wake up. Jin, you are now my assistant, the strange thief Chain Tian, how can you be distracted in the battle?" "It's the strange thief Guan's Yu, Master Sword Master." Sumin Jian reminded, "Chain Tian is almost dead." "Yes, the strange thief Guan's Yu." Kyo Chain Time quickly switched back to his real name, "Help me scan the surroundings at any time. If there is anything unusual, remind me in time." Yeah. Kunlun Mirror also knew that this was not the time to be sentimental, so he quickly turned his attention to the surroundings. In this way, Kyo Chain Time gradually walked through the passage, and in front of him was the exit of the tree tumor. Chapter 1000. There is no Kyo Chain Time in the world anymore. Kyo Chain Time passed through the entrance of the tree knot and then quickly returned to normal size. As soon as he landed, he immediately scanned the surroundings. "Jin? There is no special alarm mechanism." Kunlun Jing said quickly, "But don't be careless, my scanning is not omnipotent." "Yes." Kyo Chain Time did not hesitate and quickly rushed to the Tianmen Hall on the top of the mountain. In front of the Tianmen Hall, there are pine and cypress trees standing alone, and on the stone table, there are chessboards and chess baskets. Kyo Chain Time arrived at the Tianmen Hall, looked at the chessboard in the distance, and asked again, "Jin? The heaven repairing stone is in the chess basket." Kunlun Jing replied, "I didn't find anything suspicious." "Nothing suspicious is the biggest suspicion." Kyo Chain Time frowned and said, "Kisun Immortal didn't set any traps. Maybe he is confident enough in the secret realm of Tianmen Hall." Sumin Jian guessed, for example, he completely sealed the original entrance to the secret realm and thought that no one could break in, so he didn't take precautions against the chess basket. That makes sense. Kyo Chain Time made a prompt decision, "Since you think there is no restriction, then go and get the fragments for me." He quickly played a sword trick, and Sumin Jian immediately shot towards the chessboard. The sword light turned and was about to roll the chess basket in. Suddenly, the surrounding sky and earth suddenly changed color. Countless lines crisscrossed and woven into a chessboard around Kyo Chain Tian, and then countless black and white chess pieces, each as big as a mountain, quickly fell from his head. "Jin, this is what you said about no restrictions." Kyo Chain Time had to dodge frantically. "I've already said that my scan is not omnipotent." Kunlun Jing also thought hard, "Is this a maze? Where is it hidden? Why didn't I scan it out? Let's see how to crack it first." Kyo Chain Time used the consuming sword to split the black and white chess pieces that were shooting at him. "Let's see how to crack this maze first." These black and white chess pieces are not difficult to deal with, but they are very large in size, similar to the type of fanchen seal. Relying on simple and rough smashing to cause damage, they naturally cannot do anything to Kyo Chain Time who has the consuming sword. But the formation here was activated by myself, and God knows whether the Immortal Kisun has received the message, 80% of it has been received, and whether he has rushed back immediately, 80% of it is already set out. I have to break the formation quickly to get the Butian stone. Got it. Kunlun Mirror suddenly shouted, "This formation is not near the chessboard, nor near the Tianmen Hall. It is embedded in the base of the entire secret realm, just like the cave heaven of Jian Temple. Don't analyze the reasons and see how to break the formation." Kyo Chain Time shouted, "I can break the formation violently." Kunlun Mirror said quickly, "But if so, it will definitely alarm those outside the secret realm." Nonsense. Kyo Chain Time became more and more irritated. "If I don't need to break the formation violently, can't I break it myself?" While I was breaking it, the Red Pine Immortal came back. "I know you are very anxious, but don't worry." Kunlun Mirror didn't know where he learned this very irritating way of speaking, but just confirmed with him in a long-winded way, "You really want to break the formation violently, right?" "Yes." "Don't change it." "No change." "Okay." Kunlun Mirror quickly exerted his magic power, mirror flowers and water moons, silent light shining in the void. "Break it for me." I saw that the vertical and horizontal chessboards around him suddenly seemed to collapse and crack, and they turned invisible in an instant. Without hesitation, Kyo Chain Time once again quickly activated the Sumin sword, and the sword light rolled towards the chess basket, successfully rolling it back. "Stop it, thief!" A loud shout came from behind. Qiu Changtai turned around and saw the shocked and angry Ziwei sect master and Zhu Yingyan following behind him, rushing in from the entrance of the secret realm. Because her husband had not returned all night after going to find the sect master, Zhu Yingyan was a little worried, so she also flew to the lecture room of Yaxu Palace to see if Qiu Changtai was still there. Just as she was meeting the Ziwei sect master, she heard a sudden earth-shaking loud noise from the direction of the back hall. That direction was the secret realm of Tianmen Hall, where the ancient statue of Tai King Tianzun was enshrined, and it was a forbidden place of the sect that must not be lost. Since the lecture room was very close, Zhu Yingyan followed the Ziwei sect master and rushed into the secret realm as soon as possible. It happened to see Qiu Changtai taking the chess basket with the sword light. Qiu Changtai turned around and met the Ziwei sect leader and Zhu Yingyan. His face, which always wore a faint and elegant smile, was now calm. There was no expression at all. A jinn, teleport. Then, his figure disappeared in front of the Ziwei sect leader and Zhu Yingyan. In the Qingluo peak of Mount Chu, Ling Yunpo suddenly opened his eyes. After loading the game, he immediately reached into his arms and took out the chess basket. After taking out the fragments of the booty and stone from the chess basket, Ling Yunpo finally breathed a sigh of relief. 6 fragments, 3 of them have been obtained. He is so sad that he has lost his mind because of the breakup with junior sisters you, right? Kum Linjing said worriedly. No way. Su Mingjian expressed doubt. Why can't I see any sadness on his face? Hey. It simply spoke directly and asked Ling Yunpo, Master Sword Master, are you feeling sad now? Sad? Ling Yunpo was puzzled. I got another fragment of the heaven repairing stone. I'm so happy now. Why should I be sad? You see. Su Mingjian immediately began to mock Kunlun Mirror. I knew that a heartless person like Master Sword Master would not be nostalgic for love, and women would only affect his speed of ascending to the throne of the sky. Before the voice fell, the mirror and the sword suddenly noticed that Ling Yunpo could no longer laugh. He just sat on the bed, looking at the fallen leaves outside the window with a faint look. The wind blew. From now on, there is no Qiu Changtai in the world. However, he could never forget that at the last moment when Qiu Changtai disappeared, it was like a brand that remained in his memory. It was the extremely terrified expression on Zhu Yingyan's face. How arrogant is junior sister Zhu! Encountering a demon cultivator in Beimang Mountain, using the Huxian sword formation to save her senior brother, no matter how powerful the enemy was, or how desperate the situation was, her face was always full of a burning fighting spirit that would never admit defeat. And when had he ever seen her show such fear, shock, or even despair? Ling Yunpo had a strange feeling that he seemed to be trapped in some unspeakable emotions. It was a curse that Qiu Changtai left for him before he disappeared unwillingly. No matter how he convinced himself, I'm not Qiu Changtai at all, my fate with Zhu Yingyan is over, the curse was still firmly rooted in his heart, like a rusty nail firmly embedded in steel. A jing. What's wrong? Did you give me a hint? No. Kum Linjing was silent for a moment. Do you regret it? I don't know. Ling Yunpo shook his head. I haven't thought about it. I dare not think about it. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.